County. Honorable Speaker, numerous public projects within the county have stalled, leading to significant financial losses to taxpayers, diminished service delivery, and compromised infrastructure development. There is growing concern, Honorable Speaker, from both the public and the members of the County Assembly, who I had occasion of meeting on the 13th of June 2025 at my office, that some of these stalled projects may be exploited as conduits of misappropriation or money laundering. Nairobi County already ranks highest in the National Fiduciary Risk Assessment, as was presented by the County Public Accounts Committee of this House, raising serious questions about financial governance and accountability. In the statement, the committee should address the following. Number one, the stalled projects funded through public funds in Nairobi City County, including timelines, funding status, and total projected versus actual expenditures on each of those projects. Number two, the timelines for resumption or completion of these projects and the budgetary allocations made to ensure their completion. And lastly, Honorable Speaker, we want to know the contractors paid for the stalled or incomplete projects, including the measures in place to recover public funds in cases of non-performance. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Senator for Kakamega County, the Honorable Dr. Boni.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise pursuant to Standing Order number 53-1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on National Security, Defense and Foreign Affairs on a matter of national concern regarding the loss of lives, injuries, and property destruction that was witnessed during the Gen Z-led and Sabasaba demonstrations on the 25th of June 2025 and on the 7th of July 2025, respectively. In the statement, the committee should address the following. One, what is the official government account of casualties indicating the specific number of police officers and members of the public who lost their lives or who sustained injuries during Gen Z-led and Sabasaba demonstrations of June 25th, 2025 and 7th of July 2025. Two, the estimated value of private and public property and infrastructure that was vandalized or looted during the said demonstrations. Three, the total number of persons that were arrested and charged in connection with the demonstrations for alleged unlawful assembly, alleged incitement, and alleged destruction of property or other specified charges, as well as legal standing for the charges. Four, the initiatives by the government to support families of those who lost their lives or sustained injuries during those demonstrations, and to compensate individuals whose businesses or properties were vandalized, looted, including details on any ongoing programs for property recovery. And finally, Mr. Speaker, the assessment of the government on whether the demonstrations were organically mobilized by citizens or influenced by other actors, as well as the government's strategy to address the underlying causes of recurring demonstrations and to restore peace while upholding constitutional rights. I thank you.
Now, honorable senators, I will allow comments for 15 minutes. And therefore, if you get an opportunity to contribute, kindly keep it under 3 minutes. Senator Cherange.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir, for this opportunity. One, I want to commend the statement by Senator Edwin Sifuna and say that there are many challenges, especially in stalled projects. I want to challenge Committee on Devolution, Mr. Speaker, to give us an audit of all stalled projects across the 47 counties, Mr. Speaker. As you are aware, Mr. Speaker, most of these challenges we are facing is that money has been spent and there are no projects. For example, in Nandi County, Mr. Speaker, when the Nandi County Assembly Ad hoc Committee sat, they found that 6 billion shillings had been spent, but none of the projects were feasible on the ground. And Mr. Speaker, the rampant one is the stalled projects among the health sector, like Kapsengere Health Center in Aldai Sub-County, one in Kobujai Hospital near Kobujai Center, Mr. Speaker. Another one where I was in Friday is Chepteruai, Nyayo Ward, which is yet to be completed, among starters, including the Kapsabet newborn unit, Mr. Speaker. So I believe there are so many stalled projects in our, Mr. Speaker, be able, Mr. Speaker, to give us an audit of all stalled projects. Finally, Mr. Speaker, is on the issue that has been raised by the minority whip, Senator Kalwale, Mr. Speaker. He has asserted on the issue of demonstrations. Mr. Speaker, I agree that this issue of demonstrations must be dealt with family. While the Constitution allows Article 37 that all demonstrations must be peaceful and unarmed, what we have seen, Mr. Speaker, is criminality. We have seen hooligans, Mr. Speaker. Yesterday evening, I watched in one of the leading television a nice supermarket proprietor who was complaining in where, Mr. Speaker, where he has lost his property, Mr. Speaker. I agree with the DPP, Mr. Speaker, that all people who looted, burned police stations, burned courts, Mr. Speaker, block roads, rape, Mr. Speaker, they must be charged with domestic terrorism, Mr. Speaker, and even economic sabotage, Mr. Speaker. I agree with the DPP. And in fact, I want to request the judiciary, Mr. Speaker, to stop judicial activism, because we have seen cases where people have been charged with serious offenses of domestic terrorism, where they are being released through court orders or, Mr. Speaker. While I agree, most of these offenses are available, but to arrest anarchy, the judiciary must stop judicial activism, Mr. Speaker, and even declined to release most of these accused, Mr. Speaker, and let them stay in remand until their cases are heard and determined. That is the only way, because even judiciary should be careful. They are no longer safe. Even Kikuyu law courts was banned, Mr. Speaker. And therefore, I want to appeal to most of the young people in conclusion, Mr. Speaker, that the government is doing a lot through President William Ruto. Mr. Speaker, we are now having Kazim Tani and climate works, Mr. Speaker. I think we need to support so that we agree that young people have genuine concern.
Senator Faki.
Mheshimiwa Spika, pia mimi nitoe kauli yangu juu ya taarifa iliyoletwa bungeni na Senator wa Kakamega. Mheshimiwa Spika, ni kweli kwamba maandamano yaliyotokea hivi siku za karibuni yameweza kuleta hasara kubwa na maafa kwa Wakenya wengi, na ambao wengine ni wafanyabiashara ambao hawakuhusika kabisa na maafa hayo. Mheshimiwa Spika, Mheshimiwa Spika, maandamano yanaharibika wakati baadhi ya watu wanalipa watu ambao wanajifanya wao ni polisi, wanatembea na marungu na wanazunguka kujaribu kuzuia maandamano. Mheshimiwa Spika, wakati maandamano yametolewa taarifa, ni jukumu la polisi kuhakikisha kwamba
honorable senators,
ile sehemu maandamano yale yatapitia kumewekwa usalama wa kutosha, na wale waandamanaji wanaandamana kulingana na vile ambavyo taarifa wametoa kwa polisi. Lakini Mheshimiwa Spika, maandamano yetu yanaharibika wakati kwanza polisi watapinga kuweko kwa maandamano, baadaye wanashirikiana na majambazi wengine kujaribu kuvuruga yale maandamano. Hapo ndio Mheshimiwa Spika, vurugu zinatokea na watu wanapoteza mali na vijana wapigwa risasi bila hatia yoyote. Mheshimiwa Spika, agizo la hivi karibuni kwamba watu wapigwe risasi kwa miguu ni agizo ambalo Mheshimiwa Spika ni hatari sana, kwa sababu hata kwenye mguu kuna viungo muhimu ambavyo ukiviathiri mtu yule anaweza kupoteza maisha. Mheshimiwa Spika, unaweza kupigwa risasi ya mguu, Mheshimiwa Spika, ukavuja damu kupita kiasi na ukapoteza maisha. Kwa hiyo Mheshimiwa Spika, kupiga kama vile mwenda zake Rex Masai alipigwa kwa mguu
na akafariki, Mheshimiwa Spika. Kwa hivyo agizo la kupiga risasi, Mheshimiwa Spika, ni agizo ambalo ni hatari kwa vijana wetu, Mheshimiwa Spika. Maandamano, wengi wanaandamana, Mheshimiwa Spika, kikubwa walichonacho labda ni simu zao, sababu wengi wanataka kuona ile action ya maandamano. Lakini swala la kuwapiga risasi, Mheshimiwa Spika, ni jambo ambalo halifai katika nchi yetu. Tunakiuka katiba yetu, tunakiuka haki za binadamu, Mheshimiwa Spika. Asante kwa kunipa fursa hii.
The Senate Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I rise to give support to the statement by Senator Faki on access to Mombasa. Mr. Speaker, Mombasa is among Africa's foremost cities, known globally, Mr. Speaker, and celebrated for its rich culture and source of entertainment, and listed even on some of the best exploration sites of the world as the most favorite parts of the world to visit. It's unfortunate, Mr. Speaker, that over the years, we continue to hold the view that by protecting certain airlines, Mr. Speaker, it will be of benefit to that city. The world of travel, Mr. Speaker, is fast evolving. And there are certain airlines, Mr. Speaker, based either on their safety record or certain prejudices that people hold, that so long as they don't fly to certain destinations, those cities will never receive, Mr. Speaker, a good number of tourists. Mr. Speaker, we continue to undermine the potential of Mombasa and the coastal cities around it, Mr. Speaker, because of a protective policy that doesn't serve the interests of Kenyans, but very minute business interests, Mr. Speaker. I'd wish that when Ministry of Transport come to respond to that particular statement, Mr. Speaker, let it be known to the public how many international airlines are on the queue to receive landing rights direct to Mombasa. Mr. Speaker, travelers are such that right now, they don't even want to stop by JKI because many of them don't have anything to do here in Mombasa, in Nairobi, Mr. Speaker. They want to land directly from the destination of choice, Mr. Speaker, straight into Mombasa, and when they are done with their holidays and festivity, Mr. Speaker, fly out of the country. I wish, Mr. Speaker, that we can continue to have a more collaborative approach to this, Mr. Speaker, and appreciate the changing preferences of travelers, Mr. Speaker, and open up Mombasa to as many airlines as possible. There are much more smaller cities of even lower profile, Mr. Speaker, that are threatening the prominence of Mombasa, Mr. Speaker, due to this very backward policy. It is my hope, Mr. Speaker, that the Committee of Transport chaired by Senator Eddy will help the country in unraveling this mystery and ensure that we open up Mombasa, Mr. Speaker, for the sake of tourism numbers. The 2 million that we receive in this country, Mr. Speaker, we can receive double of that only in Mombasa alone, Mr. Speaker, if we make it open and ensure that tourists can access it as easily as possible. I hope the Transport Committee will do justice to the people of the coastal region. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Manzo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I would like to make a comment on Senator Halwale's request for statement. Mr. Speaker, all of us should be able to adhere to the rule of law. The Constitution is clear. And whenever somebody offends the law, they should be able to face the law fairly so. Mr. Speaker, what we have seen now is unprecedented. It did not happen during the time of President Kibaki, nor did it happen during the time of President Uhuru. Ordinarily, the Public Order Act is very clear on what should happen on demonstrations. It amplifies, although it's an old act, Article 37 of the Constitution, and ordinarily, if a demonstration sounds chaotic, a police officer, the rank of OCS, should be able to give a proclamation and give people time to clear. But unfortunately, because I've participated in this occasionally, it will always start with a bullet fired or a tear gas, and that's what will irritate the otherwise peaceful crowds, and also penetration by other people who are not part of the demonstrations. There are no regulations in relation to this. The regulations which are there were made by the Honorable Amos Wako over 20 years ago. They have expired. The minister is charged has not come to renew them through the Committee of Delegated Registration, although they have gotten a leeway of 2 years or so to do so, which now are expiring. So, Mr. Speaker, I really want to say that the order to shoot and kill is unlawful. The prosecution of peaceful demonstrators also in an anti-terrorism court is also unlawful. There is a lot of information from CCTV. The real criminals can be apprehended, but also those who send criminals to the streets should also face the law and should be apprehended. So, Mr. Speaker, really I want to condemn what has been happening, and I think the solution is not what we are looking for here. The solution, Mr. Speaker, is to change the government in 2027 and bring a government which can follow the rule of law. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator James Mrango.
Asante sana, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, ningetaka pia kusema kidogo kuhusu taarifa ambayo imeletwa na Senator Kakamega. Mr. Speaker, kuna mambo matatu ambayo yalitokea na lazima tuweze yote kuyang'amua. Ya kwanza ni kwamba kulikuwa na maandamano ya Gen Z, kulikuwa na wakora walioingilia maandamano ya Gen Z, na kuna wakora pia, na kuna wale ambao wengine wapita njia ambao walikuja kupata kufa na wako katika maandamano. Mr. Speaker, nasema hivyo kwa sababu kuanzia kesho nitakuwa tunaanza mashishi ya waine ambao waliuawa, na wengi wao wako na miaka 20, Mr. Speaker, na wengi wao walipatikana na risasi wakiwa wengi manyumbani na wengine katika makazi yao. Mr. Speaker, kama viongozi ni vizuri pia tung'amue mbivu na bichi, na nimeona wengi wakisema kwamba watu wauliwe. Watu wanafaa kuwa sisi sote ni watarajiwa katika kifo, na kuna miti na komaa mahali ya kutengeneza jeneza zetu wakati tutakapokufa. Na kwa hivyo ni vibaya kati kiongozi kusimama na kusema watu wauliwe. Kwa nini nasema hiyo? Unapata watu wanafikiria wale wanauliwa ni wale, lakini sio sisi. Mr. Speaker, katika waini ambao nimetaja hapa, na ndio vizuri report tuweze kuletewa hapa. Moja, tumeshinda siku nzima tukitafuta cheti ya umbi ili aweze kufanywa upasuaji hauliwe. Alikuwa anafanya kazi katika Saimba. Lakini wale wote walio sijasikia mtoto wa kiongozi ambaye ameuliwa na bunduki, Mr. Speaker. Chambilecho kwamba kuku maskini hatagi na akitaka angui na akiangua vifaranga uliwa na mwewe. Sasa wale maskini vifaranga vyao vimeenda. Tungeomba kwamba tuwe kimya na tusiongee maneno mengine ya kuudhi ili tuweze kuwafanya waomboleze na kuzikana kwa amani, Mr. Speaker. Lakini Mr. Speaker, tumepewa leo kisu, tunanoa msumeno. Tuchunge isije ile msumeno ndio itakuja kukata msitu tunaojificha na kuachwa uchi. Mr. Speaker, anayeogelea baharini kwa kutegemea mawimbi, wakati anaposhuka akiwa hana nguo, uchi wake huonekana mchana peupe. Kwa hivyo ni vizuri tuchunge maneno tunayosema, wakora washikwe, wenye waliharibu mali na kuimba vitu na kuvunja mali ya umma. Hiyo naunga mkono kabisa, lakini pia kama tuwezi rudisha uhai wao. Asante sana, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Olekina.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise to support a statement raised by Senator from the great county of this statement. I'd like to inform the Senator that I'm aware. We want to encourage that instead of congesting everything in Nairobi, we encourage. One other big challenge, Mr. Speaker, is that because the cities are so close to each other, sometimes it doesn't make economic sense to fire out an engine of an aircraft, from Narok to Nairobi. Because by the time you are trying to go up, you are descending. So it doesn't make sense economically. But I think it is important that we look at it holistically to see how best we can reduce taxes and encourage more people to invest in the aviation industry. Otherwise, I support, and I just want to appreciate what the Ministry of Transport is doing in allowing more international. Now we need more frequency. I think if Turkish Airlines is given to bring more, if British Airways is given more, other people are given to fly directly to Mombasa, to fly to Narok, we will be opening our economy to, more foreign currencies. Right now, I'm very happy that we've been able to increase our foreign reserves to quite a lot of money compared to other years I think it was about, what, is it 14 trillion or something like that, or 1.4 trillion in foreign reserve. It is something that when we do it practically, we can be able to benefit our country. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Tabitha Mutenda.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Allow me to support the statement by Senator Kamar in regards to the consultation of the draft model of the law of labor migration. And this is because, Mr. Speaker, I have a bill, which is, I'm happy it's at the Committee of the Whole, and the issue of migration and the issue of our migrant workers, Mr. Speaker, all cutting across at international levels is very critical, Mr. Speaker. I'm happy that she's able to note also that I've been able to make severe strides, and I also request that the same priority be put by the Committee of the Labour and Social Welfare, because matters that are affecting our migrant workers across the country, Mr. Speaker, are very critical. We've seen families, some that have really positively succeeded working in the Gulf countries, others that have also suffered in one area or the other. But because these are our brothers and sisters from the different countries, but more specifically because my bill touches our Kenyan brothers and sisters who've traveled out there. It is a bill that gives them an opportunity to be treated fairly and with the rights the same way they are treated. It would be very unfair, Mr. Speaker, whereby a Kenyan employee out there is really paid peanuts, while the same counterpart coming from a different country is paid higher, simply because we've not been able to negotiate correctly. But I'm happy that this bill is in place. It has been well embraced, and I also ask the ministry to keep up the leader. In regards to Mr. Juan Peter Ayiro, of a senior teacher at Alliance Girls High School, Mr. Speaker, we were able to see.
Senator Muma.
I hadn't finished, Mr. Speaker, because the majority whip just called me out and said order, and so
Senator for Kakamega, if you have a point of order, you know what to do, but you do not exchange directly with your colleague. Proceed, Senator Mutenda. Proceed. So then why engage your colleague directly? You could have been patient. I will, of course, give you an opportunity to raise your point of order. Proceed, Senator Mutenda.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise also to continue and support Senator Hamida's statement, which...
Yes, Senator for Kakamega, what's your point of order?
Is it in order for the Senate to comment on a statement moved under 52(1), which is exactly what she's doing?
You're out of order. Kindly proceed to comment on the other statements that were raised pursuant to Standing Order 53(1).
Mr. Speaker, I'm well guided, but since I had already moved the same 52(1) for Senator Kamar, it was not intentional. I'll proceed to make my comments on Senator Boni's Halalo's statement in regards to the loss of lives and injuries, Mr. Speaker. A few weeks ago, Mr. Speaker, this country has been a country of demonstrations. Mr. Speaker, people have suffered losses of their businesses, Mr. Speaker. We've been able to see families coming out and deeply saddened and crying for the loss of their loved one, Mr. Speaker. The statement by my colleague, Dr. Boni, clearly states that the government should be able to support these families, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I do agree with him that these families, especially the ones that have lost their loved one, the ones that have also lost their properties, Mr. Speaker, the government should come in and offer some support. But, Mr. Speaker, at the same time, the culprits, the people who have also organized these goons to be able to do the heinous that they have done, damage of property, stealing of goods, Mr. Speaker, they should be brought to books, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, where we are as a country, 2 wrongs don't make a right, Mr. Speaker. It's the high time, Mr. Speaker, that these issues of demonstration should be put aside, Mr. Speaker. It is a right for every Kenyan to demonstrate, as Article 37 in the Constitution states. But at the same time, the way to go should be talks and negotiations, so that instead of our people going to the streets, solutions are offered, Mr. Speaker. And it's in that regard, Mr. Speaker, I want to state that at the end of the day, this is our country.
Senator Muma.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for the opportunity to comment on Senator Boni Khalwale's statement. Honorable Speaker, the issue of the exercise of the freedom in Article 37 of our Constitution is actually getting out of hand. And the exchanges we have make it look as if demonstration is a matter of the police versus the people. Mr. Speaker, Article 37 is an important right that is supposed to be supported by all. It was intended to facilitate the peaceful movement of people protesting an issue, people who are unarmed, and people who would be supported in terms of security by the police to be able to move, to take their petitions to wherever they want to take these petitions. Mr. Speaker, what happened on 25th June and 7th July is a terrifying issue. Mr. Speaker, we saw excesses by the police, but we also saw excesses by the ordinary people. And the conversation we have, I plead, and I'm glad Senator Murango put it well, this is not quite a matter of who is supporting government and who is not supporting government. I think everybody from both aisles or from whatever political persuasion you come from should see the wrong in excessive use of forces by the police. We should also be able to see the wrong in the incitement and arming of young people and getting them to destroy property. So whoever organized goons, whether it was whatever political persuasion they came from, is wrong to have done what they did. We need as a house to be able to hopefully get back the country to understand that in Article 37 there is a right. But for all those who are involved, the police, the demonstrators, they also have individual rights, none being more superior than the other. That we need to move to a level where we respect this. Honorable Speaker, it is my hope that the Committee on Security will objectively look at this issue, will help us as a country to be able to call out those who fell short of the standard, regardless of whether they belong to government or not, and will help us to bounce back on the track of what was intended when we as the people of Kenya put Article 37 within the Constitution. Allow me also to support Senator Faki on his statement. It is my view that our local carrier is actually becoming so expensive that you wonder when you buy a ticket, a KQ ticket, to Mombasa, even to Kisumu, you might as well be buying a ticket on another airline to go to Uganda or to go to West Africa.
Senator Kisang.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I also rise to support Senator Faki's statement. Honorable Speaker, a country like Mauritius with a population of 2.3 million people receives more visitors than Kenya that has over 55 million people, Honorable Speaker. It is important that we open up the airport of Mombasa to other airlines to fly directly, Honorable Speaker, because most of the tourists who come to our country, most of them, they target Mombasa. So why don't we then basically allow them to fly there directly so that we can increase the number of tourists that are coming to the country from the current 2 million to maybe 5 or even more, Honorable Speaker. And this will create other opportunities. Our tourism, our hospitality sector in the coast, both Kwale, Kilifi, Mombasa, and even up to Lamu, Honorable Speaker, will grow. And when they grow, we'll have growth in terms of employment for our youth, because the reason why our GNCs have been in the streets, it's because of unemployment. But when we open up that part of the country, Honorable Speaker, we'll generate a lot of employment, will generate a lot of revenue for the country, will also, even in terms of tax collection, it will go up, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, it is important to know also, when more airlines fly directly to Mombasa, directly, Honorable Speaker, Kenya Airports Authority will also have to expand the airport. And when they expand the airport, basically there'll be additional opportunities by KA to employ. The airlines that are flying directly to Mombasa will have an agreement so that at least even the air hostesses that they are going to, the crew that they are going to employ, Kenyan youth will have a percentage of those opportunities, Honorable Speaker. And basically it will be a win and win for everybody else. Nairobi is not going to be lesser by flying directly to Mombasa. Honorable Speaker, it's also important to maybe call KQ to order, Honorable Speaker. This airline, the delays that are there are too much. In fact, in Kenya, I remember 80s, 90s, KQ was called the bride of Africa. But I don't think we are proud even now to say KQ is the bride of Africa, Honorable Speaker. I remember sometimes last year when you sent me to Zambia, and then several of us, we came to Counter International Airport around midnight because the flight was supposed to be at 2 a.m. And then we are put there for 8 hours. There is no explanation. Even flights, the local flights from JKI to Mombasa, from JKI to Kisumu, there are so many delays, and KQ don't even have the courtesy to apologize for the delays, Honorable Speaker. And finally, Honorable Speaker, the one of Kalwale's statement, Honorable Speaker, I remember 1990, 1991, 92, Honorable Speaker, when there were demonstrations, the opposition then used to go to Kamukunji and make all the statements there and go home peacefully, Honorable Speaker. I don't know what has become of late. For the last 5, 6, 10 years, our demonstrations have taken a different turn, not like the organized one for 1990, 91, 92, and around up to maybe around 1995, Honorable Speaker. We need to relook into this so that we don't destroy property. We demonstrate peacefully as anticipated in Article 37 of the Constitution, Honorable Speaker, without injuring the rights of other Kenyans, Honorable Speaker. Thank you.
Senator for Kilifi County, the minority leader.
Asante Mstahiki Speaker. Mstahiki Speaker, kwanza nataka kuchukua nafasi hii kumpa kongole ndugu yangu Faki kwa kuja na taarifa hii. Mstahiki Speaker, tunajua kabisa kwamba Mombasa ndio kama kiini cha uchumi wa pwani, na ingekuwa vyema kwamba Mombasa kufikia hivi sasa ndio ingekuwa inaongoza katika Kenya kwa upande wa utalii. Lakini jambo la kusikitisha ni kwamba hivi sasa Mombasa na vitongoji vyake katika pwani vimekuwa vya mwisho katika upande wa utalii. Utalii umekufa katika mkoa wa Pwani. Bwana Spika, mengi pia yanaletwa ni kwa sababu ya uzembe ulioko katika Kenya Airways. Shirika letu la ndege tunalojivunia kwamba it's a pride of Africa, sio pride of Africa, it's a shame of Africa. Ni jambo la kusikitisha, ni aibu tupu, kwa sababu ukiangalia asubuhi kama leo nimeweza kuchukua ndege kuja Nairobi. Lakini ukienda na kama Skyward unalipa shilingi 7,800 ama unaweza kulipa kama shilingi 8,900. Ukienda na Kenya Airways kutoka Mombasa kuja Nairobi, ukiwa ulibuku jana unalipa shilingi 25,000. Tofauti ya 10,000. Hiyo ni mara mbili ya safari ya kutoka Mombasa kuja Nairobi na kutoka Nairobi kwenda Mombasa. Jambo la kusikitisha. Kwa hiyo tunasema kwamba Kenya Airways ambao ni shirika ambalo tunajua ni la serikali na ni la kitaifa na ndio linabeba bendera yetu mbele ikiweza kuonyesha mataifa yote katika ulimwengu, tunataka iweze kufanya kazi yake kisawasawa na kuona kwamba itakuwa katika mambo ya mashindano na watu wengine, mashirika mengine. Bwana Spika, pia lingine ambalo nilikuwa nataka kusema ni kwamba wakati wote ambao watu wakiwa wanafikiria mambo ya pwani, wanafikiria kwamba pwani ni mahali pa utalii peke yake, lakini wakae wakijua kwamba pwani ni mahali ambapo pia kuna wakulima. Kwa hiyo zile barabara zinazotengezwa nataka ziende kwa upande wa ukulima pia. La mwisho nataka kugusia ni kwa sababu ya mambo ya kupiga watu risasi. Bwana Spika, hakuna katika sheria za Kenya zinazompatia waziri ama zinazompatia rais ruhusa ya kupeana ili Mkenya apigwe risasi. Ni jambo la kusikitisha, na matamshi kama haya yanatakana kuzuiliwa. Matamshi kama haya ambayo hayana support ama hayaungwi mkono na katiba ni kinyume cha sheria. Bwana Spika, utaona ya kwamba ukitoa amri ya kwamba
Senator Kinyua.
Asante Bi Spika kunipa fursa hii. Kuanzia mwanzo nataka kuunga mkono taarifa iliyoletwa na Senator Boni kuhusu maandamano. Bi Spika, katika kipengee cha 37 kinakubali maandamano ya amani, na hiyo inakubalika Bi Spika, lakini inavunja moyo sana Bi Spika ukiona watu wanaandamana, wengine wanaandamana kwa amani ilhali unapata kuna wale wahuni. Lakini kile kinavunja moyo sana ukitembea Nanyuki, kwa sababu kulikuwa na yale maandamano ya Sabasaba. Kuna msichana wa miaka 24 ambaye anaitwa Julia Njoki. Ndiyo alishikwa akapelekwa kotini na akahukumiwa. Lakini baada ya hapo unapata kwa njia isiyojulikana alikufia katika mahakama, alikufia katika seli zetu Bi Spika. Hili jambo linavunja moyo sana ikiwa hautapigwa risasi, kwa sababu tayari kumesemekana ya kwamba kuna ile taarifa inasema ya kwamba Wakenya wapigwe risasi, na ukiangalia katiba ya Kenya inasema serikali kazi yake kuu ni kulinda mali na maisha ya wananchi. Na hata ijapokuwa Bi Spika, kwa sababu ndio kuna wale ambao ni wahuni ambao tayari wanaingilia katika ile maandamano na kuleta vurugu, kuibia wananchi na kuwadhulumu ama na kuwaumiza wale wananchi. Kuna mfuatilio ambao unapaswa kufuatwa, washikwe wapelekwe kotini na wahukumiwe Bi Spika, kwa sababu katika sheria zetu zinasema ya kwamba wewe unaonekana kwamba bado haujafanya kosa ni mpaka upelekwe kotini na wanasheria wafanye kazi yao Bi Spika. Si Julia Njoki peke yake Bi Spika. Kijana wa kidato cha 3 ambaye anaitwa Thomas Gashwara alipigwa risasi na kuuawa Sabasaba Bi Spika. Unajiuliza kijana kama yule anaweza kuwa amebeba nini ama anaweza kufanya nini? Kwa hivyo hii mambo ya kuwashambulia watu wakiwa kwa maandamano Bi Spika, ilhali unaona wale wahuni wanaendelea kufanya kazi yao bila ya kuonekana wakiwa na mtu yeyote ambaye anawasimamisha. Speaker, jana niliangalia nikaona ya kwamba nyanyake Julia Njoki ni mama mkongwe, hata yeye alikuwa akipigwa na tear gas akitetea haki ya mjukuu wake, na baba ya mtoto huyu ndiye chifu wa sehemu hiyo, bwana Martin Kariuki Rienye. Speaker, kwa hivyo unaona hiyo inamvunja hata mfanyikazi wa serikali, anavunjwa moyo na hawa maafisa wa usalama ambao wanapenda kupiga watu risasi. Speaker, kwa hivyo hili ni jambo ambalo halipaswi kukubalika. Kamati ambayo inahusika, kamati ya usalama, wanapaswa waangalie haya mambo kwa undani, waweze kujua haya maandamano. Speaker, wahuni ni akina nani? Wale ambao wanafanya, wale ambao wamekuja kuleta dua zao, kuna wale ambao wamekuja.
Senator Mungatana.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving me the opportunity to take the floor and support the statement by Professor Margaret Kamar on labor migration, the consultations that were made by Pan-African Parliament recently here in Nairobi on the 16th of June. Madam Speaker, I watched with consternation about 2 days ago when the Greek Prime Minister was speaking to his parliament amid huge cheering, and he said that Greece will no longer provide an easy access to Europe from North Africa. And he said again, amongst huge cheering from the members of parliament, the Greece parliament, that they will be detaining every person who crosses from Morocco, from Sudan, from South Sudan, all those who from Libya, all those people who make their way to Europe through Greece. They will create special detention camps. Mr. Speaker, Madam Speaker, what this communicates is that time has come for Africa to seriously consider developing migration laws for labor that make it easier to come and work in other parts of Africa as opposed to going to Europe. The days when Europe was the glamorous place that people used to hope to go to, they are over. They are also experiencing lots of problems. Trump has put very serious taxes on importation of their goods. They are having their own economic problems, and they're trying to find a way of answering those problems by making it look like it is migrant labor force that is bringing the problems to Europe. Madam Speaker, these consultations that were sponsored through Pan-African Parliament must be taken very seriously. It is time that Africa really rises up to make it easy for all of us who want to work in various parts of Africa to be able to work there without a problem. Madam Speaker, we need to create a situation where if an Angolan came to Kenya, what is the legal regime? How much tax does he pay to Kenya, and how much tax does he remit back home? What about the social policies? Will he be eligible for him to access to social health authority in Kenya, for example? Will he be protected by the labor laws in this country? We need, as a country, as Africa also, to support this labor migration law that is being developed through the Pan-African Parliament. It has already now gone through the consultation. And I am aware that in this Nairobi meeting, a resolution was made to bring it to the plenary of the Parliament of Africa, which will be done in this session beginning this July. And once the plenary is done, Madam Speaker, as the process demands, it will go to the AU executive, and then we will have to domesticate it in various national parliaments. We need to make a score on this one. We need to create an Africa where our people can go and work anywhere, they can go and live anywhere. During the Africa Day here, Madam Speaker, we, the members of the delegation of Pan-Africa, We brought students from all over Kenya in leadership into the parliament precincts, and we had a meeting here celebrating the African Day. Mr. Speaker, Madam Speaker, what I saw are students here, students who are from Rwanda, students from South Africa, students from DRC, who are all students here in Kenya. These students, Madam Speaker, they will meet their spouses here. Why should we make it so difficult for them to be?
Senator Mandago.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I rise to support the request for statement by Senator Boni Alwale, Madam Speaker, with a bit of concern in some of the areas the Senator is asking. Madam Speaker, we truly understand that indeed it is a constitutional right for people to picket and seek for their rights, Madam Speaker. But Madam Speaker, when we are talking about vandalism, destruction of property, Madam Speaker, it should be clear that the law provides for government to protect its citizens and property, Madam Speaker. And Madam Speaker, any action the government then takes to protect the citizens' lives and their property, Madam Speaker, should also be applauded in the same measure that the government is being criticized for taking action. Madam Speaker, I'm happy to note that, Madam Speaker, when there was a debate on whether the youths were responsible for destruction of property or the goons, Madam Speaker, and I've had my friend and colleague Senator for Laikipia saying the order to shoot Madam Speaker was unfortunate. But Madam Speaker, I think that order is the reason why the owner of the goons, Madam Speaker, has announced that the demonstrations and the destructions of property must stop, Madam Speaker. And Madam Speaker, even as we seek to know, to quantify the losses that we have, Madam Speaker, I don't agree with the position that government compensates businesses that have been lost, Madam Speaker. But I would say the owners, the organizers, the mobilizers of the goons that destroyed property, Madam Speaker, should be held to account. Madam Speaker, in the future, I think this House, we need to amend the law.
What's your point of order? Who's Senator Kinyo?
Madam Speaker, I heard the good senator for Singishu, Mandago, saying about the owner of the goons. I don't know who is the owner of the goons.
Senator Mandago, please substantiate who the owner of the goons is, or
Madam
withdraw
Speaker,
and
the owner of the goons is somewhere in United States.
Senator
Mandago. I will get the names later, Madam Speaker, but,
Yeah.
but I know there has been some announcement that Mandamano.
Senator Mandago, will you tell us the owner of the goons in the next one? We can actually record that, or you withdraw the statement if you don't have a name.
Madam Speaker, property that was destroyed was not destroyed on ordinary days. It was destroyed during Mandamano.
Senator Mandago, the point of order is very specific. Do you have a name of the owner of the goons, or you do not? If you do not, kindly withdraw.
Madam Speaker, let me temporarily withdraw. But even as I withdraw, Senator Kinyua knows the owner of the goons.
Senator Mandago. Senator Mandago.
Okay, Madam
you know
Speaker.
The rules. Please.
So that I can complete my submission. Let me withdraw that statement,
Thank
Madam
you.
Speaker.
Thank you.
The point is made. But I wanted to say that even as the Constitution allows for people to picket, demonstrate, and take their petitions, Madam Speaker, the Constitution also protects the wealth and the business and properties of others. Madam Speaker, in the future, those organizing for demonstration should take responsibility for any destruction of business or property that is destroyed in the course of that demonstration, Madam Speaker, so that people can call for genuine demonstrations. We want to see people picketing, taking their petitions the way we've seen the health workers bring to Parliament. We want to see people taking their petitions to the police headquarters. We want to see people taking their petitions to the Cabinet Secretary for Security to demand where there is insecurity, Madam Speaker, they take to the right.
Senator Nyoto.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I also rise to support the statement by the Senator for Kakamega. Madam Speaker, regarding demonstrations and the resultant killings and destruction of property. And Madam Speaker, we must start by saying that it is the right of every Kenyan, when they have a reason to demonstrate peaceably and unarmed. That is a right that cannot be taken away from Kenyans, Madam Speaker. The other thing that concerns me as a person is that no one is addressing the causes of these particular demonstrations. We have had young people demonstrating, and they have grievances against the government. And government has not even made an attempt at resolving or at addressing these grievances. It is time, Madam Speaker, that the government of Kenya starts addressing the root cause of these demos and not just demonizing those that demonstrate, Mr. Speaker. I must also express my very deep, I should call it embarrassment that, Madam Speaker, the head of state can address this issue without first giving a message of condolences or passing a message of condolences to those who have lost loved ones, especially through a police bullet, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, even as we discuss this matter, we must say and be very categorical that it is true anyone who destroys life or property must be made to face the law. But, Madam Speaker, we cannot apply the law selectively. And I say this because, Madam Speaker, there are some youths now charged under the Terrorism Act, supposedly for torching the police station in Kikuyu, Madam Speaker. While another police station was torched in Mawego Police Station, Madam Speaker, in Homa Bay County. The youths that were that perpetrated that, none of them has been charged under the Terrorism Act, Madam Speaker. So the law must be applied equally, Madam Speaker. We cannot have youths from a particular region being charged under the Terrorism Act, while, Madam Speaker, there are youths from another region that, Madam Speaker, are charged under a different
Cherarke, what's
regime.
Your point of order?
Madam Speaker, I raise understanding order 105 on the issue of accuracy of statement and facts. And then Madam Speaker, I needed the senator is out of order. Because under this constitution, under article on the Director of Public Prosecution is an independent office.
Senator Cherarke, what is your point of order?
My point of order, Madam Speaker, is for the senator to allege that the government is charging youth from one particular region with terrorism, yet he knows under the Constitution the Office of the Director of Public Prosecution is an independent office.
Senator Cherarke, what is the contradiction? He said youth from one side are charged with a different offense from youth from another. What is your point of order?
My point of order, Madam Speaker, is insinuating that the government is charging, yet it is the DPP who does the charge of suspects.
Senator Cherarke, I think your point of order is not clear, so Senator Newto, proceed.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And it is important that when we address issues in this House, that, Madam Speaker, we do not speak for the gallery to please somebody from somewhere, that even the points of order that we raise are substantive, that we do not just stand up and raise points of orders to please a particular being somewhere. Madam Speaker, having said that, I want to say, Madam Speaker, that we cannot be blaming people.
Honorable Senators, I have a communication to make on visiting teachers and pupils from Njoguini Primary School in Nyandarua County. Honorable Senators, I would like to acknowledge the presence in the public gallery this afternoon of visiting teachers and students from Njoguini Primary School in Nyandarua County. The delegation comprises 8 teachers and 43 pupils who are in the Senate for one-day academic exposition. Honorable Senators, in our usual tradition of receiving and welcoming visitors to Parliament, I extend a warm welcome to them, and on behalf of the Senate and on my own behalf, wish them a fruitful visit. I thank you. Is the Senator for Nyandarua? Do you want to welcome them for 2 minutes, please?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I just want to welcome the teachers and pupils of Njoguini Primary School, Nyandarua County, Budas, Murang'a County.
Senator Mandago,
Senator Mandago.
What is the issue? Just hold on.
Chair, you know, because the school is on an academic tour, I think it is important for them to know, and they know that their senator is John Methu, the senator for Nyandarua. Senator Nyutu is the senator for Murang'a. And just for further information, Madam Speaker, Nyandarua County is in the Rift Valley. It would have been appropriate for me to welcome this delegation.
Senator Mandago, you have a point on the fact that the senator for Nyandarua is Senator Methu, but I will proceed to allow Senator Nyutu to welcome them on behalf of Senator.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. This is the kind of standing orders, Madam Speaker, that I had taken issue with. Now, the former governor for Singishu wants this House to believe that Nyandarua County is actually in Rift Valley County. Nyandarua County Senator Mandago is in Mount Kenya, to be specific, in central Kenya, and it borders Murang'a County, and I stood here as a neighbor of Nyandarua County to welcome the good pupils from Njoguini Primary School in Nyandarua County. And I want to tell them, welcome to this particular house. Your senator, Senator John Methu, is out on official business, and as John Nyutu, senator from Murang'a County, I stand in for Senator John Methu while welcoming you here. I believe that you are going to have a very fruitful experience here, and you will learn from the discussions that we are having here. But one thing I ask you is that when you grow up, please be reasonable in your debates and your actions, and do not take some lessons that are negative from some of us. Otherwise, God bless Njoguini Primary School. Your teachers, your future is very bright, that I assure you. Karibuni sana. Asante.
Honorable Senators, I have another communication to make on visiting teachers and pupils from Bonanza. Order, Senator Nyutu. Senator Nyutu, please. I have a communication to make on visiting teachers and pupils from Bonanza Primary School in Embu County. Honorable Senators, I would like to acknowledge the presence in the public gallery this afternoon of visiting teachers and students from Bonanza Primary School in Embu County. The delegation comprises 4 teachers and 29 pupils who are in the Senate for one-day academic exposition. Honorable members, in our usual tradition of receiving and welcoming visitors to Parliament, I extend a warm welcome to them, and on behalf of the Senate and on my own behalf, wish them a fruitful visit. I thank you. I'd like to invite Senator Mutinda to welcome our team from Embu. Senator Mundigi, who is the senator, is out shortly.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. The Senator of Embu, your Senator Mundigi, is just stepped out on official duties, but actually is always my immediate neighbor. I'm also an alumni of St. Anne's High School from the great county of Embu. So I'm also a product of Embu when it comes to my O levels. I want to take this opportunity to welcome you to the Senate. It is the upper house. We also wish you the best as you continue doing what you're supposed to do to the younger ones. Do not set the examples that we saw last week that were set by one of the best schools in this country, Alliance Girls. What we saw one teacher doing to our young people. I urge you teachers to go and do the best and have products like this, as I pride in being one of the students from the great county of Embu. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Honorable Senators, I'll give a few more as I request whips to mobilize for Kara. Senator Hamida.
Asante Bi mwenyekiti. Langu tu nilikuwa ni kuchangia hii mambo ya huduma ya Kenya Airways na Jambo Jet, Madam Speaker. Huduma hii imekuwa dhaifu, imeshuka chini na inasikitisha kuwa hata bei yake ya Kenya Airways na Jambo Jet imepanda juu na imekuwa vigumu kwa wananchi wa Kenya wenyewe kusafiria, kuitumia. Bi mwenyekiti, hii tungependekeza ama ningependekeza kuwa wakishusha bei ya ndege itafanya mambo yatakuwa rahisi kwa watu, kwa sisi local wa Kenya kuweza kusafiria. Lakini kwa sasa huu mfumo wa utoaji leseni ulio na masharti, yamekuwa na masharti magumu. Kwa hivyo imekuwa ndege zimekuwa chache tu za kwenda Mombasa, Nairobi. Kwa hivyo serikali ingefanya hima kuwa iweze kutoa leseni nyingi kwa shirika za ndege zingine ili kuwe na competition na ndio tuweze Wakenya waweze pia kufaidika. Na saa zingine kuwa wanajaribu kuwa hali ambayo inaweza wangeweza kuwa na hali ile wangeweza kuipunguza ili ifanye kuwe na mvuto wa tourists kuja Kenya zaidi. Lakini kama ndege ya local, kusema kweli bei yake ipo juu tu na Wakenya wengi hawawezi kuweza kulipa hiyo bei iko juu. Kwa hivyo Bi mwenyekiti, mimi namuunga Senator Faki mkono kuwa bei ya Kenya Airways na Jambo Jet kusema kweli iweze kushuka chini na huduma zake pia zao ziwe bora zaidi. Na sasa pia tumeanza kuona kuwa Kenya Airways bado huwa lazima ndege ziwe zimechelewa. Kumekuwa na kuchelewa ndege, kama unaondoka saa 2 unajikuta unaondoka saa 7 ya mchana. Kama unaondoka saa 7 utajikuta unaondoka jioni. Kwa hivyo pia haina utaratibu wa time wa saa zake ukamilifu wa kufanya kazi vizuri. Kwa hivyo tunaomba serikali iweze kusaidia Kenya Airways kuwa wawe na huduma bora na pia fedha ama malipo ya ndege yapunguke.
Senator Veronica.
Honorable Speaker, thank you for the opportunity to speak into one of the statements that has been brought to the floor of this House by Honorable Dr. Bonnie Halwale. Honorable Speaker, I want to first quote Article 3 of the Constitution, that every person has an obligation to respect, uphold, and defend the Constitution, and any attempt to establish a government otherwise than in compliance with this Constitution is unlawful. I'm quoting this because, Honorable Speaker, what we have seen in the maandamano that we experienced on 7th of July and 25th of June is not anything to write home about. Very well-intentioned demonstrations were turned into violent protestations, and instead of peaceably proceeding to demonstrate and raising the issues that public believes that they wanted to raise, there was so much infiltration from the political front that what we ended up with was loss of life, destruction of property, and we also saw careers curtailed and occupations brought down, Honorable Speaker, and even those Gen Zs who are working in those businesses now cannot wake up and proceed to work. From my end, I think our public and ourselves, we need to school ourselves once again on the constitutional stipulations when we are exercising our freedoms and rights, because rights carry obligations. They ride with obligations. And where somebody has a right, that right must not breach the rights of other citizens. And what we saw, Honorable Speaker, easily makes us think that we should actually not have demonstrations in Kenya for now. Because, Honorable Speaker, why would anybody even compel young people to go to the streets just to be in conflict with the police officers, Honorable Speaker, because they know at the end of the day there will be infiltration of that demonstration? The harm outweighs the good now. When it comes to destruction of property, loss of life, the intended good by Article 37 of the Constitution has been overridden by the harm that was caused, and even loss of one life is one too many for the nation of Kenya. We need to rethink as a nation, what is our pledge, our loyalty pledge to the nation? What is our pledge? And I want to cite the Americans, Honorable Speaker, who value and treasure their nation and uphold their flag. They defend and protect their nation. Why are we not able to do that in the exercise of our rights under the Constitution?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I am presuming that you have granted me the floor to also... Thank you very much. I equally want to support the statement by Senator Boni Halwale on the consequences of what was initially meant to be a very constitutionally protected right under Article 37 of the Constitution to demonstrate, to picket, and to present petitions, which, Madam Speaker, unfortunately turned out to be a destructive experience which this country has previously not experienced. Madam Speaker, the statement, whereas it is seeking, which I believe once it's committed to the committee, will seek to establish certain actions the government intends to do or has done, and also statistics on what the consequences became of those demonstrations, will, again, Madam Speaker, seek to establish beyond the statement, because whereas Article 37, as everyone else has said, entitles one to freely demonstrate and picket and present petitions, it equally gives that particular person a mandate and obligation in law to ensure that other people's rights, which are protected by the same Constitution, are not affected. Madam Speaker, this corresponding right has completely been thrown into the docks. When you look at what transpired on the demonstrations of 25th and the ones on Sabasaba, Madam Speaker, did not in any way resonate well with what the law requires of those organizers of the demonstrations, as well as those who participated in the demonstrations on that particular day. For instance, Madam Speaker, when you look at Sabasaba, that is something that we have for a very long time, since the 90s, before a good number of us were born, we have commemorated the day called Sabasaba. And during all those demonstrations and commemorations, we have not experienced the destructions of public property, private property, the killings of innocent Kenyans and people who were not participating in the process before. For all this period, Madam Speaker, the commemoration equally has been confined to one rallying code that required of that particular day to remember those who fought for this country to get multi-party democracy. Unfortunately, Madam Speaker, it was hijacked by the political class, hijacked by those who were keen on destroying, stealing, and killing. The statistics, Madam Speaker, today, which the Ministry of Interior provided as to the value of the property that was lost, both public and private, is not anything to write home about. It is no longer, Madam Speaker, demonstration, and it's very unfortunate that sometimes even members of this House who've talked before me are seeking to profile to the extent that they are making reference to certain arrests and people being charged of various, of certain communities.
Can you hear me? Okay, thank you. Order number 10 is hereby deferred, and allow me to rearrange the rest of the business so that we can now move on to order number 13.
Order number 13, the County Allocation of Revenue Bill, Senate Bills number 9 of 2025, second reading.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Allow me to, I beg to move that the County Allocation of Revenue Bill, Revenue Bill 2025, Senate Bill number 9, to be read a second time, Madam Speaker.
Senator Cherarke, I think you were here when the Speaker guided on what should happen. I think you're stretching your luck. Please sit down and listen carefully. So you want to exchange with me on that now?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, the County Allocation Bill 2025 was tabled before this House, Madam Speaker, as per our standing orders. And the County Allocation Bill 25 has been prepared in accordance with the Article 218(1) of the Constitution. The bill divides among counties the revenue allocated to the county level of government through the Division of Revenue Act. And the Act, Madam Speaker, does provide that the financial year 2025-2026 allocation, Madam Speaker, through the committee that I serve as a Vice Chair, Madam Speaker, we were able to propose 465 billion, Madam Speaker. And the National Assembly had proposed 405, Madam Speaker. This resulted to a mediation process. I was able also to sit with my other colleagues in the mediation committee to mediate on the division of revenue, Madam Speaker. And we unanimously finally agreed on 415 billion, Madam Speaker. So, Madam Speaker, as I proceed, I want to state that the bill contains two schedules. And it will be very important, Madam Speaker, for colleagues to know that in these two schedules, we have the fourth schedule, Madam Speaker, and the fourth schedule divides the county equitable share amongst counties in accordance with the fourth basis of revenue allocation, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, before we got into this level, we had to look at the parameters that we went through from what the stakeholders had submitted, starting with the CRA, Madam Speaker. And we tabled this to the House as far as the formula is concerned. I'm happy that colleagues were able to agree, and hence now I'm here before this House to table the bill, Madam Speaker. The fourth schedule, Madam Speaker, provides that the first 387.425 billion is the baseline allocation and is to be shared on each county's allocation for financial year 2024-2025. Remember, Madam Speaker, that this is the previous allocation, 387.425. And where we are at 415 is an increment of 28 billion, Madam Speaker, to the counties. The next, Madam Speaker, is 4.46 billion, which is an affirmative action that we were able to agree that was given or was shared to the 12 counties. Madam Speaker, these 12 counties are Elgeyo Marakwet, we have Embu County, Isiolo County, Kirinyaga, Laikipia, Lamu, Nyamira, Nyandarua, Samburu, Taita Taveta, Tharaka Nithi, and Vihiga County. Madam Speaker, these are the counties whose allocation has been below 6 billion. Apparently, it's only the county of Lamu, as per the schedule, that is still below, but the rest were able to at least achieve the 6 billion, Madam Speaker, at least. The balance, Madam Speaker, which amounts to 23.115 billion, was now shared as per the 4 parameters that we were able to agree as a House and as a committee, whereby the population weight was settled at 45%. The poverty index weight was also settled at 12%. The geographical size index, Madam Speaker, settled at 8%. Remember, this is the discussion we had for the issues of land. And we said land does not increase in this country. And so we felt that the parameter should not be increasing. The basic share index, Madam Speaker, was also settled at 35%, which brings a total of 100% in these 4 parameters. So it is important that when members look at the schedule, this is how these figures have been achieved, Madam Speaker. As I proceed, the second schedule to the bill, Madam Speaker, has also provided a recurrent expenditure budget ceilings for the county assemblies. And during this just recent recess period, as a committee, we were able to sit with over 20 county assemblies looking at their request as far as the issue of their expenditure budget ceilings for them, the county assemblies were concerned, Madam Speaker. So in this second schedule, Madam Speaker, we were able to look at the needs. We were able to consider in terms of the different issues that they presented, Madam Speaker. In the processing of it, Madam Speaker, you find that some of these budget changes were brought about by the issue of the inflation, Madam Speaker. Some assemblies also pointed out on the issue of increased medical costs that they needed to be able to at least cover their members or their staff, Madam Speaker. Some of them needed to have or to purchase office equipment. Some of them needed mobility as far as transport is concerned, because you find that some counties have got quite different types of hardships. And so we were able to look at these different issues that the county assemblies presented and ensure that we adjusted their ceilings depending on the different needs that they presented before the committee, Madam Speaker. Allow me to also recognize, Madam Speaker, the different stakeholders that we've been able to walk this journey with, led by none other than the CS Mbadi, the CS Treasury, in planning whom we've walked this journey as far as Division of Revenue is concerned. The Council of Governors. Remember, Madam Speaker, their proposal was actually 536, Madam Speaker. But as a House, we've given them a total of 28 billion as an increment. And I want to tell the governors, this is not their money. This money is not given to governors as individuals. It is given to the institution, the county, which has structures, and the governor is the CEO. It is prudent that with this increment, let them prioritize the issue of the pending bills. We push a lot for them to have these increments. We also push a lot for them to have timely disbursements. So they should also do the needful, Madam Speaker, and ensure that suppliers are paid and paid on time, Madam Speaker. CRA, we've worked closely and we continue working very closely with them. Remember that the ones who submitted their first formula, we were able to really dig deeper into the formula that they had presented. The County Assemblies Forum, they have a structure, they have a body that we've worked very closely with. The Institute of Public Finance, the Institute of Certified Public Accountants of Kenya, Madam Speaker. The Institute, Madam Speaker, of Economic Affairs, Institute of Social Accountability and Budgetary Hub. These are institutions that really we work very close with so that we can be able to ensure that we maximize when it comes to matters public participation, Madam Speaker. The committee, having considered the bill and stakeholder submissions, we were able to make some several observations, which included sharing of the revenue amongst the county, that is the 415, as per the two schedules that I've communicated, the first schedule, which is the fourth basis, and this second schedule for the County Assembly, Madam Speaker. The overall ceiling to the counties assemblies has been enhanced by 1.89 billion from the approved 36.37 for the financial year 2024-2025 to 38.26 proposed for financial year 25-26. The county executive ceilings, as provided by CRA, reveals a significant shift from the previous financial year with 10.3 billion decline. CRA indicated that this was informed by the quantification and various expenditure needs. There are various expenditure needs that have also arisen, especially in the county assemblies, Madam Speaker, due to time lapse. For instance, the Hansard systems that has also lapsed for over the years, and this needed to be put into the modern digital standard that is in place. Madam Speaker, as I conclude, I would want really that this bill be adopted, and I would really also extend the same gratefulness to my committee members whom we work very closely, because you realize, Madam Speaker, that our bills at the Committee of Finance are timely bills. And I appreciate, because you also have to readjust and rearrange the order paper because of the timelines that we have as far as these bills are concerned, the Secretariat that we work also very closely with, and all the stakeholders that I've mentioned. I would request to call in Senator Cherargei to second, Madam Speaker.
The seconder, Senator Cherargei.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. From the onset, I want to support the committee for the good work. I think this is the only committee, apart from, of course, you as truly of Public Accounts Committee, that is doing a good job. I think, Madam Speaker, and I want to thank the committee vice chair, Senator Tabitha Mutinda, for always being there and ensuring that.
Yes, what's your point of order, Senator Sigit?
Chair, is it in order for Senator Cherargei, as he moves to second, for him to say that there are only 2 committees in all of Senate that are actually working?
Senator Cherargei, that assumption, do you want to correct instead of arguing that only 2 committees are working?
Madam Speaker, I say industrious committees.
No. You said the only 2. It is very clear.
These are only 2.
You said the only 2 that are working.
Senator
Cherargei, you know what you said. Please.
Can the answer be bear me witness? If I have committed
Senator
the wrong,
Cherargei,
then I can withdraw and apologize. No, I just really want to get what I said, Madam Speaker.
Secretariat, can you indicate what Senator Cherargei said?
Yes, please.
Okay, everybody, can you hold on? We get a minute. Senator Mutinda. Senator Cherarke, you can continue, and the verification will be brought as in due course. You can continue moving the, and.
Thank you, Madam Speaker,
Senator,
for the understanding.
Senator Veronica, what do you mean by point of clarification? I mean, you've not said anything. Why are you clarifying anything? I think let Senator...
Point of information. Point of information.
Senator Cherarke, do you want to be informed? Thank you. Okay. Let Senator Cherarke proceed.
Please. Thank you. Mr. Speaker, I want from the onset, and thank you for your understanding, Madam Speaker. You know you are my neighbor. Madam Speaker, thank you very much. As I rise to second, I want to celebrate this Committee of Finance and Budget, and more so the Vice Chairperson, Senator Tabitha Mutinda. And I'm told she's looking for something with this Nairobi City County, and I wish her well. I think she has outdone herself, Madam Speaker, in this committee, and I hope to see her in future senior leadership positions in this country. Mr. Speaker, as I read you know, Article 210 of the Constitution is very clear on a number of allocation, the county allocation. Madam Speaker, it behooves, I think, Article 96. The role of Senate and us is to protect devolution. The reason all of us should be here, and I know my colleagues are following keenly as they, on the floor of the House and also in our launch, Madam Speaker, this is very critical. I'm happy, and I want to commend, although, Madam Speaker, I had somebody trying to castigate the former Prime Minister in one of the events, which is very uncalled for, because as a Senate, we had sat and said 465 billion should go to counties. Madam Speaker, it is the economic reality. And even me, I was at the beginning, Madam Speaker, I was disappointed because we thought counties should get more. Because looking at the national budget of 4.2 trillion, we thought even counties should get 50% of the national budget, Madam Speaker. But because of the economic realities, Madam Speaker, the Committee of Finance and Budget and the mediated came back with 415 billion to the counties, and I want to set the record straight. To many Kenyans from our 47 counties, we did add almost 28 billion to counties, Madam Speaker, up from last year when we had 387 billion last year, Madam Speaker, under shareable revenue. So there is additional funds, and I want the fourth estate, Kenyans and governors, Madam Speaker, to get right. There was an additional funding to counties, courtesy of our mediation committee and also the Committee of Finance and Budget. Madam Speaker, for example, Nandi, we are going to get an additional up to 7.7 billion in shareable revenue. Madam Speaker, for Kenyans to understand, shareable revenue is not inclusive of additional funds, conditional funds, Madam Speaker, such as grants, and also outside on-source revenue. Madam Speaker, so that Kenyans can understand. You know, many people confuse, and you know, governors take advantage and tell people there is no money that has been released in Nairobi. Yet they are not telling Kenyans there is additional funds, there is conditional funds, Madam Speaker, including grants. I know later in the day, Madam Speaker, with your indulgence and understanding, they will be able to move Equalization Fund, which is yet to be released, Madam. All this money will one way and another go to our county for development. So on this shareable revenue, I'm happy, Madam Speaker, that as a House, we did sit, and it is our vision, Madam Speaker, to have counties get more funds day in, day out for the benefit of development, Madam Speaker. I agree. I saw the Senator of Nairobi bring a statement on the stall projects in Nairobi City County. Those are challenges that we are facing, Madam Speaker. Even in my own county, I did indicate early that, for example, there are so many stall projects, Madam Speaker. In fact, the Nandi County Assembly did consider an ad hoc report where 6 billion Kenyan shillings worth of projects cannot be accounted by the county government of Nandi, Madam Speaker. And it is very unfortunate because when you go to Chepter, where I was there on Friday, Chepter Nyawad, Madam Speaker, as told, yet the people of Masab sub-county and people around have to go to Western to seek medical services. You come to Kobuja, Madam Speaker, hospital, it is also stalled. You go to Kapsengere Hospital, which is neighboring you to Kisumu County, in Terik Ward, is also stalled, and it is affecting provision of health services in that region, Madam Speaker. I hope when we push to increase this money through conditional allocation, Madam Speaker, of revenue to counties, it will assist to jumpstart like Kapsengere, Madam Speaker. Even when you come to newborn mother and baby in Kapsabet Town Hospital, Madam Speaker, is very unfortunate. It is wobbling. It is yet to be completed, Madam Speaker. Go to Kabie Dairies. It has been built for the last 8 years by the county government of Nandi, yet they have not been able to even manufacture 100 millimeters of milk that can be processed in that criminal. Yet that project being co-financed, Madam Speaker, it has consumed close to 1 billion Kenya shillings, Madam Speaker. When you go to, Madam Speaker, even on Friday, Madam Speaker, I had an occasion of attending a retirement party of Mwalimu Limu in Kamakap, in Aldai. I was able to pass a dispensary, Madam Speaker, called Kabwareng, or Kibwareng, Madam Speaker, and you could find there is no sufficient drugs. The provision of medical services is very wanting. So this this county allocation of revenue to counties should jumpstart, Madam Speaker. I have heard the mover, my sister, Senator Mutinda, has alluded on the issue of pending bills. As we talk today, Madam Speaker, it is almost 200 billion that are pending bills, Madam Speaker. The reason we push for more increment to counties, Madam Speaker, is to ensure counties are able to pay their first charge, which is pending bills, Madam Speaker. It is sad, Madam Speaker. When you go to Kisumu County, Busia, all the way to Mandera, there are so many young businessmen and women who have gotten diabetes or high blood pressure because they have done their only mistake was to work for county governments, Mr. Speaker. They are yet to be paid. You saw in some instances, I think a few months, somebody somewhere, one of our counties had to work naked, bare naked, because they have yet to be paid. Madam Speaker, most of the projects that is being done by our businessmen and women, including Nandi County, Madam Speaker, they have yet to be paid by county government. And yet most of those, they took through LPO to get loans, Madam Speaker. They have been able to get loans. They have guaranteed through their land. They have guaranteed through their own money, Madam Speaker. Can you believe there are Kenyans, Madam Speaker, who provided for service and goods, and even in counties, Madam Speaker, that are yet to be paid? Because I don't know, this money that we give to county governments, Madam Speaker, what do they use for? Because, Madam Speaker, the reason devolution was done was to give opportunity to so many Kenyans across our counties, Madam Speaker, to have an opportunity to do business at our counties, Madam Speaker. Even here in Nairobi, there was even a case of a legal fees of almost 2 billion, Madam Speaker, that is yet to be paid. There is a number, in fact, the largest 80%, 60 to 80% of the pending bill that's around 200 billion comes from Nairobi, Madam Speaker. And you heard today there was a statement of most of the stalled projects in this county, Madam Speaker. And you have seen even occasion where it rains, the roads within network within the city that should be maintained by the county government of Nairobi, Madam Speaker, is yet to be achieved. And somebody says, and I remember the governor used to say that lazima work. It looks like it doesn't work, Madam Speaker. So some of these challenges that we are facing, including the issue of pending bills, Madam Speaker, must be considered so that counties, Madam Speaker, can have opportunity to put in place, Madam Speaker. Number 3 point, Madam Speaker, as I move, is that the control of budget. I know the control of budget, Madam Speaker, has been having a problem. We have a sit-in on a number of occasions, and I want to challenge the Committee on Finance and Budget, Madam Speaker, to sit with control of budget. Because another challenge, Madam Speaker, most of the counties apply for requisition. They get, and you know, the biggest elephant in the room, Madam Speaker, is voiding of payments, Madam Speaker. Somebody requests to pay A through control of budget, but when the money is released through the county CRF account, they pay B. And that is when voiding of payments happens, Madam Speaker. We have seen a county like my county, they did avoiding payments of only 500 million, where they tell the control of budget they are going to pay Y, but they pay Z, Madam Speaker. And that is what is killing counties. That is why you need to look, I don't know whether you need to look nice or something for governors to pay you or something like that, because it doesn't make sense. We push for the increment, then this issue of pending bills, Madam Speaker, or the issue of control of budget. I know governors, when they hear this, they are very uncomfortable with COB, Madam Speaker, and you are aware because you have sat with us in this house and you sit also in a number of committees. They are very uncomfortable because the control of budget, we need to ask her, Madam Nyakango, to be on the lookout, because we don't want that requisition to counties after we allocated funds to be used for voiding of payments, and that is what is killing counties, Madam Speaker. Number 4 point, Madam Speaker, is on the issue of Office of the Auditor General, Madam Speaker. I know while we fight for this money to be released, before I conclude with that on the Office of the Auditor General, under Article 219, Madam Speaker, the law is very clear. Why is it that every time, and I know finance and budget has been on the receiving end, and even the CS in charge of Treasury, John Badi, Madam Speaker, on many occasions we have been complaining.
Senator Cherarke, your words have been brought to me now. Do you want to sit for a second? This is what you said. Thank you, Madam Speaker. From the onset, I want to support the committee for the good work, I think this is the only committee, apart from, of course, yours, truly public accounts committee. So the wording is clear. You actually said it's the only one. I think it impugns improper motive about the other committees. So I kindly request that you withdraw.
Madam Speaker, I profusely withdraw and apologize, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, the fourth point I wanted to make is on Article 219. I know we did sanction the former CS of National Treasury, Ukuri Yatani, in the last session for delay in disbursement to counties, Madam Speaker. Article 219 of the Constitution 2010 is very clear. When the money is released, Madam Speaker, it should be released to counties without undue delay, Madam Speaker. And therefore, I want to appeal to the CS of National Treasury. I know the finance and budget, Madam Speaker, we have been demanding questions, especially, Madam Speaker, when counties do not receive their funds in time, Madam Speaker. We want counties so that when we bring them for accountability, when we ask them questions, when we do oversight as per Article 96, Madam Speaker, we are able to hold them to account, Madam Speaker. I know this Article 219 has been abused, Madam Speaker. Why would counties go without the money for more than a quarter, Madam Speaker, in the financial year? In fact, I know there are challenges of collection of revenue in the country, but that one should not be justification, Madam Speaker. I want also to request counties, because the biggest problem is on-source revenue. In most of these counties, Madam Speaker, they are collecting revenue either automated system. And in most of the occasions, Madam Speaker, they don't get value. They don't own some of those. I have seen my brother, Governor Kimani Wamatangi, who was here, courtesy of your office, Madam Speaker, and I saw somewhere that they presented there has been an increment in terms of collection of revenue. We have seen a number of counties projecting. So we want to request them that their county treasury, the money they get, they must use for the value of the many Kenyans that we see. So this, Madam Speaker, should be a wake-up call to many of our people, Madam Speaker, so that we can see development going into the future, Madam Speaker. And I request colleagues, Madam Speaker, even as we consider that these funds we push to counties, Madam Speaker, we must be very... And another aspect, Madam Speaker, I want to challenge counties in conclusion. Because we have so many challenges of young people, lack of opportunities, I want to call upon counties to be creative. We have passed, I don't know, Madam Speaker, I did see in the order paper that we have creative industry bill. Creatives, I think there was a bill concerning creatives, the young people to monetize their social media. Even as I did this, Madam Speaker, I want to, in your indulgence, pass my deepest condolences because we have lost one of the comedians called KK Mwenyewe yesterday or today morning. Madam Speaker, may his soul continue to rest. We used to get to enjoy ourselves whenever he used to act, and now may the family, God be with them during. So the creative, we want to request counties, Madam, I want to challenge counties. It is not enough to issue balls. It is not footballs or volleyballs, Madam Speaker. It's not enough to issue nets. It is not enough, Madam Speaker, to issue chemist kits. Counties can bring something creative through this allocation of funds, Madam Speaker. And therefore, even development, Madam Speaker, even as national government does development, Madam Speaker, because over the weekend I visited a place called Chepsir, Madam Speaker, and the roads, you know, Madam Speaker, in my region it is raining heavily. As you are aware, you are our neighbor. There is a lot of rains at the moment, and the roads are very pathetic and impassable. And I was shocked, Madam Speaker, that some of the agencies, and I'm happy there are changes in the agencies of roads in this country, in a road called Chepterit Moi University, Madam Speaker, and I was shocked with this, the engineering. You know, I'm not an engineer, I'm a lawyer like you, Madam Speaker. And as I was passing near Cap Chepsir, Madam Speaker, Chepsir village, next to Chepterit, those guys were putting maram, then they put tarmac on top. So I was wondering, what type of engineering is this? And that is why in this country, one of the biggest challenges, Madam Speaker, is misappropriation of funds. The EACC must be on lookout especially, and I'm happy, EACC, Madam Speaker, were given access to e-procurement. We want them to take advantage and ensure that there is no misappropriation of funds. I hope and pray one day that the EACC will ensure, Madam Speaker, that there is access, there is no misappropriation of funds in our counties. Madam Speaker, you know the problem with the OAG report is that we are morticians. We come after the fact, Madam Speaker. I want to challenge EACC to put in preventive mechanisms so that we don't lose resources in our counties, Madam Speaker, so that we get value for the money. You know, Senate, we come, they appear before Public Accounts Committee, we give out, we can't prevent because we are just morticians. The only time we have opportunity, Madam Speaker, is during now county revenue allocation. Then we come back after looking at the Office of the Auditor General report. I know there are many recommendations we can make as a Senate, but the only implementing agency, Madam Speaker, I have served in this house for some time. The only problem we face, and I know yourself, you go to a place, public parasa, people anauliza, what is Senate doing about stopping of funds? But they don't know, and I want to take this opportunity to inform Kenyans. The work of Parliament is to recommend. The work of investigation and prosecution is EACC and DPP. The much we can do, if there is misappropriation of funds in our counties, Madam Speaker, is only to recommend for prosecution, for investigation by the DPP, by EACC, especially on the issue of economic crimes, Madam Speaker. So on this one, Madam Speaker, because I want to allow most of my colleagues to be able to contribute, is to second by saying, Madam Speaker, in conclusion, this is a very critical bill. Madam Speaker, governors should be aware this is not their funds. And I have had on several occasions, Madam Speaker, governors are they love and like senators during this time only, Madam Speaker. But when you go to the village, whether Kisumu or Busia, and you tell Governor Otuoma or Nyong'o that you have brought money, I had another governor, Madam Speaker, which I have tremendous respect. They should also ensure that these resources we give them is not theirs, it is the money of Kenyans. With those many remarks, Madam Speaker, I beg to second, and I thank you.
Honorable Senators, I propose the question that the County Allocation of Revenue Bill, Senate Bills number 9 of 2025 be now read a second time. Senator Nyamo.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. This bill is not just about figures and physical frameworks. It is about deepening devolution, it's about unlocking stalled projects, and it is about winning the trust and the confidence in county service deliveries. Madam Speaker, we know that county governments continue to bear the weight of expectations from wananchi, from healthcare to ECD, education, water, infrastructure, and all that, Madam Speaker. Yet year after year, we continue to deal with delays, underfunding, and ceilings that lock any chances for innovation and progression in our counties. We are stuck in a rut, like we are funding recurring budgets and very little of innovation and responsiveness in our counties, Madam Speaker. I look forward to a time when allocations in our counties will be based on how much pending bills each county owes its people. And I look forward to when we have a specific allocation that must strictly go to pending bills, Madam Speaker. I have never understood
why as a Senate or as a country we do not take pending bills seriously? Is it because ourselves, we are not business people? Because when you procure services, when you procure goods from our own citizen, Madam Speaker, it is only prudent that we pay our people. Why are we scamming, for lack of a better word, our people? Because, Madam Speaker, today, if I go to a restaurant and order for food when I don't have money in my pocket, Madam Speaker, that is tantamount to scamming. Why are we doing that to our people? And Madam Speaker, when this money goes to the hands of our people, it makes our economy run, because now businesses are underemploying because they don't have the money. The money is held by government. Madam Speaker, I do not know what we need to do as the 12th Parliament to make sure that as we finish our 5 years, we address the issue of pending bills. Madam Speaker, it weighs heavily in my heart and in my mind, the issue of pending bill, especially when young people are owed by government. We are crippling our own young people instead of supporting our young business people. We are the ones who are crippling them, Madam Speaker. Nairobi, as a city, has its own devolved complexities, and I'm looking forward to not just timely disbursements of this money, but also very clear accountability mechanisms that gives zero room for misallocation. And with that, I want to urge other members, my colleagues, to pass this bill with the urgency that it deserves. Our county governments cannot run on goodwill and loan. They need resources. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Senator Mungatana.
I want to thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving me the opportunity to also make my contribution on the County Allocation of Revenue Bill 2025. Madam Speaker, I listened carefully when the able senator and vice chair of the committee was moving this bill, and thank her together with the committee for the work they have put into bringing us this bill. Madam Speaker, I wanted to start by saying that this is a very solemn duty that is bestowed upon the Senate after we have passed the division of revenue bill. We have divided the monies between the national government and the county governments. Now, when we are discussing this bill, the proposition is to divide the monies amongst the counties. And Mr. Speaker, many people wonder what Senate does. And it has taken a lot of explanation, because sometimes senators don't say this enough, but it is after we pass, for those who are listening to us at this time, it is after we pass this law that the money is made available to the county governments and the county assemblies, so that this money is then applied for the good of the people, hopefully, at the county levels. Madam Speaker, the mover of the motion stated clearly that before they came in to move this bill and during the recess, they had lengthy consultations with over 20 county assemblies who came before the committee to explain the needs they have within the counties. And Madam Speaker, one of those counties was Tana River County Assembly. Tana River County Assembly, Madam Speaker, made its propositions, and the big issue here is that our county assemblies have been denied sufficient funds for them to carry out oversight duties. They have made this plainly clear to me when I went to address the assembly, and even when I went with the committee to meet a sister committee in Tana River County, that they are having a problem with the slashed funds. And this makes it very difficult for committees to be able to move and carry out their oversight duties. Madam Speaker, many of them are not able to fund the normal activities of oversight for standing committees of the county assemblies. And this includes the County Assembly of Tana River. And Madam Speaker, this creates a problem because then if primary oversight is not carried out properly, then it becomes a challenge, because then for us who are carrying out the secondary oversight at the national level, at the Senate level, we overwork ourselves. And it is because those county executives were not called to account at the county level. The CECs, the chief officers were not called to account at the county level. So then, Madam Speaker, we have a backlog because reports are not being done. The governors come here before the Senate, and they also have a backlog. So we have a problem in terms of the funding, Madam Speaker. Twining with that, Madam Speaker, there is the issue of we are doing secondary oversight. They are doing primary oversight. And because sometimes we are conflicting, you will find a CEC or a chief officer who is being asked in those rare occasions to appear before a county assembly committee says, no, I am being called to Nairobi, or I'm accompanying the governor to Nairobi. And Madam Speaker, it creates a systemic problem. And we need to sort this out so that county assemblies are properly funded and they are able to deal with their primary oversight duties. Madam Speaker, this is a message that has been given to me formally by our county assembly members. I know they appeared before the committee, and I know that the committee has looked at them favorably, but not enough. What the County Assembly of Tana River has said, they want more allocation so that they are able to carry out primary oversight duties. And I'm sure, Madam Speaker, it is not just the Tana River County Assembly committees. There are so many other committees that are having issues with funding so that they can do the primary oversight duties. Madam Speaker, the other issue that has been brought to life in this law, in this proposed law, is the proposed Section 10 of this County Allocation of Revenue Bill 2025. Madam Speaker, if you look at that section, it provides, not Section 9, it provides for the action that constitute financial misconduct. And Madam Speaker, when you look at this, I wanted to take the floor of the House, Madam Speaker, to really emphasize this point. Why is this important is that there is a schedule that has been provided for of how monies are supposed to depart from the National Treasury and go into County Revenue Fund, the CRF. Madam Speaker, this movement from Treasury, despite the schedules that we pass here, and the law being that it's the law, it has to be obeyed, they never follow these schedules. And because of this failure to follow the instruction that is given by the Senate, we have very difficult operational circumstances within the counties. Madam Speaker, you can have a county that has not paid its workers for a period of 2 months, sometimes even 3 months, Madam Speaker. And when these workers are not paid for that long, and suddenly money comes, a lot of money comes at the same time, it creates inefficiencies, systemic inefficiencies. And this is why I have called many times for the separation of the Treasury so that we have two clear functions. Treasury that is dedicated to servicing national government, and a treasury or a sub-office dedicated to serving the county assemblies, so that there is always money that is released timeously. Because, Madam Speaker, money has value when it is released on time. If you need now 10,000 shillings, it may not be useful to get 100,000 shillings or even 1,000,000 shillings 2 days later, when 10,000 was required now for a purpose. That 10,000 becomes more valuable than the 100,000 or the 1,000,000 that comes 2 days or 3 days or 2 months later. Madam Speaker, we need to find a way in which officers at the Treasury can prioritize proper movement of monies. If this schedule is obeyed, then we should have less problems in terms of counties managing their finances. I will not repeat that governors, as they receive this money, they must remember they have a duty to the people. They have a duty to do work. Once we have finished with this, they have a constitutional and a civic duty, in fact, even a spiritual duty, to make sure that this money reaches those areas that are needed. Madam Speaker, it is not enough for us to just pass these monies. These monies, when they go down there, they must do the work so that devolution makes sense. We have seen counties that have done very well, and we have seen counties that have not done as well. We pray, Madam Speaker, as we pass these monies in this financial year, they will be utilized in the manner that is equivalent to the shared value of devolution. With those so many words, Madam Speaker, I beg to support. Thank you.
Honourable Senators, I don't see other contributors, so I now wish to call the mover to reply.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. I really want to start by appreciating my colleagues led by Senator Cheralgay, Senator for Nandi, for the great input while seconding this very important bill for this House at this critical time. Also to thank my sister, Senator Karen Nyamu, from also Nairobi County, where we both represent, for her great input, knowing very well Nairobi is really leading with the issues of pending bills. And so this bill is very critical, not only to this great county of Nairobi, but also cutting across to all the 47 counties, Madam Speaker, and also to appreciate the legend, none other than Senator Mungatana, for his wonderful input, Madam Speaker. And I know also, Madam Speaker, if you were also seated on this other side, we would have had your great submission, as you've always submitted before this House, Madam Speaker, because I don't want to take too much time. I really appreciate them, and I do beg that the putting of the question be deferred to a later date. Thank you.
Yeah, the putting of the question is so deferred. Next order.
Order number 11, the Equalization Fund Appropriation Bill, Senate Bills number 7 of 2025, second reading.
Is it Senator Mutinda again? Senator Mutinda?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Allow me to move that the Equalization Fund Appropriation Bill, Bill 2025, be read a second time. Madam Speaker, the Equalization Fund Bill, Senate Bill number 7, which was published before this House and was first read on the 27th of June, pursuant to our standing orders. Equalization Fund is also established under Article 204. Madam Speaker, it's not the first time I'm moving the Equalization Bill, and this bill is very critical, especially to the marginalized regions or areas that have been focused on, Madam Speaker. And I've always stated, and I'll always state, that the main aim, the main goal of the Equalization Fund is to be able to facilitate on issues that cut across the health sector, the roads issue, the water sector, and electricity, Madam Speaker, more so narrowing to the marginalized regions and areas, Madam Speaker. According to the CRA, Madam Speaker, we have 1,424 marginalized areas that spread and cut across the 34 counties, different counties, Madam Speaker. Equalization Bill, Madam Speaker, as I've said, is not a new bill to this House. And the Senate Bill number 7 provides for appropriation of 16.8 billion from the Equalization Fund for financial year 2025-2026. The proposed amount, the 16.296 billion, shall be shared or should be shared among the 34 beneficiary counties. This is based on the second policy on marginalization. Annexed from the bill on Equalization Fund allocation of the 1,424 marginalized areas which had been identified, 504 million is to be allocated to the Equalization Fund Advisory Board. The 504 million is for administration cost as pursuant to the PFM regulations. And Madam Speaker, the committee had carried out public participation on the bill in accordance to our standing orders. And in this participation, we were able to invite different stakeholders. You know, in the Committee of Finance, we have, stakeholders that we are always engaging with them, led by the Minister for Finance. We have the Commission of Revenue Allocation, the County Assemblies Forum, Madam Speaker, and at this point we had a special stakeholder called the Old Pumwani Landlord Community, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, as I proceed, the committee was able to make different observations as far as the issue of Equalization Fund is concerned. One of them, Madam Speaker, the bill provided for allocation of per county and subsequently per constituency. The projects to be funded are only in the identified marginalized areas. A review of the projects identified by Equalization Fund Advisory Board as of June 2024, that was last year, indicated that the total 1,415 projects have been proposed to be entered under the second marginalization policy. Madam Speaker, as I proceed, the Equalization Fund has two Appropriations Act in place. One, we have the Equalization Fund Appropriation Act, number 3 of 2018, amounting to 12.4 billion, being allocation of the financial year, and I want you to note that the financial year 2014-2015, 2015-16 and 2016-17 implemented through the first marginalization policy. Madam Speaker, you hear this financial years. These are almost 10 years ago, Madam Speaker. The challenge that we've had, Madam Speaker, as far as the issue of Equalization Fund is concerned, is the reimbursement of this fund, Madam Speaker, to the beneficiary counties, to the beneficiary marginalized areas, Madam Speaker. And that's why you find that this 12.4 billion was the first allocation, Mr. Speaker. The second act of the Equalization Fund Appropriation number 7 of 2023 was 10.3 billion, being the allocation now of the recent financial year, which is financial year 21, 22, 22, and 23 for the second marginalization policy. However, the implementation of the second act is yet to be fully implemented in regards to the disbursement of the money to the fund, Mr. Speaker. As of June 2024, that is last year, remember this Equalization Fund was within a period of 20 years, Mr. Speaker. The only amount that has been disbursed is the first allocation of around the 12.4. But as we speak, as at now, the fund stands to have arrears outstanding amounting to 46.5 billion out of the 59.96 billion. This is an implication of 13.4% that has been only sent for the fund since inception. The lack of funds, Mr. Speaker, the lack of the disbursement, and I'm saying the disbursement because where the problem has been through the Ministry of Treasury and Planning, Economic Planning, whereby these funds or these disbursements have not been honored by the minister himself. If these funds had been disbursed as scheduled, as prioritized, as amounted, Mr. Speaker, we will not be talking of arrears amounting to 46 billion today. Mr. Speaker, in the bill, the committee, having considered the bill and analyzed the stakeholder submissions, we made some few recommendations. One, amendments to clause 3 of the bill by deleting the 4.1 and substituting with the expression 2042. This is because basic services be provided via Equalization Fund are provided in Article 2042 of the Constitution. And secondly, Mr. Speaker, amending the schedule to the bill in column 2 of the item 13 with respect to Kitui County by deleting the word Kisumu and substituting with Kitui. Mr. Speaker, the emphasis as far as Equalization Fund is concerned is just basically on the arrears that are in place. We look forward as a committee to having the CS Mbadi next week on Thursday morning so that we can also be able to engage him as far as the issue of Equalization Fund is concerned. This is a fund that should have achieved its purpose. The reason it has delayed, the reason it has had this challenge is because the disbursements have basically not been honored, Mr. Speaker. And with those and many few remarks, I want to thank my colleagues at the committee level, led by my chair, Honorable Senator Roba, and the rest that we work very closely with, the secretariat led by Gitonga, we have Beverly, Lucy, and the team, that we work closely as far as these issues of the committee are concerned. And at this time, because we still have another bill, which is also timely, that we have to look into, I want to call Senator Cheryl Guy to be able to second. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. And it's good to see you again in this new week. I'm impressed on how Senator Mutinda is pronouncing my name. I think she's pronouncing it with a British accent, or is it American accent? Madam Speaker, I want to continue to commend Senator Mutinda for the good job that she's doing as the vice chairperson. I think that's why I said, Mr. Speaker, in the morning, or before, a few hours ago, that Senator Mutinda continues to distinguish herself as one of the prolific debaters of this session. And I can see she's learning the ropes too fast. And I hope the position she will aspire to, she'll be able to continue her debating prowess, because she always does her work with an eye of military marksman or markswoman. But, Mr. Speaker, as I second the issue of equalization fund, as I equalization, I think Senator Karen Nyamu, Mr. Speaker, you know, I attended one of the best schools in this country. I'm an alma mater of Kapsabet Boys High School, the only school that has produced 2 presidents, the late His Excellency Daniel Toroitich Arap Moi, and the 5th President of the Republic of Kenya, Dr. William Samoei Arap Ruto, and that is the 5th now. So you can imagine, and we are going to give him 2 terms. Mr. Speaker, and also possibly the 7th. Yours truly, of course. So in English, I said, she does her work with an eye of military marksman or markswoman, because now military has both women and men. And of course, to show appreciation to our women leaders led by Senator Mutinda. Speaker, this is a very fairly short bill. I agree with the mover that, Mr. Speaker, I don't know what is happening with National Treasury. They are putting us in crisis mode. Because this 46.5 billion that is owed through Equalization Fund continue to cripple provision of services, Mr. Speaker. As you are aware, Article 204 of the Constitution 2010, these funds were supposed to use for basics, like hospitals, like roads, and other, like roads, basics, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, I want to request that the Finance and Budget Committee and the Senate Business Committee schedules a committee of the whole, led by you, Speaker, so that we bring CS of Treasury, CS Mbadi, to come and sit here and tell us, Mr. Speaker, these 424 marginalized areas, including your county, Garissa County, where you come from. Although the other day, the putting of firewood in Masjid, one of your markets within town, was a problem, Mr. Speaker, because I'm told even the people who fight firefighters are not well trained, which is very unfortunate. So on these 424 marginalized areas, Mr. Speaker, of 34 counties, why is it that 46.5 billion is yet to be released? This will continue to cripple services. Mr. Speaker, over the weekend, one of artists from Nandi County called Jantex, Speaker, in a place called Cherondo, which that is in Kapchorwa Ward, between Kapchorwa, Lesos Ward, Mr. Speaker, and also Soba Sonko. Those words, Mr. Speaker, are the words that has been classified to get Equalization Fund. I saw our local artists, DJ Kaptula, I saw a number of them, Mara Vuria, and a number of artists who are complaining that the roads were bad. We agree with them, they are bad. But it is because of lack of release of this amount of money, so that we can fix that road from Cherondo all the way as it opens up to Imagi Trading Center, Mr. Speaker. So even as I apologize, because also, Mr. Speaker, you know, unlike Garissa, Nandi is raining. We have been blessed. And you know, it's next to the, you know, Nandi, Mr. Speaker, has 3 forests. It has Nandi North, Nandi South, and Kimondi Forest, Mr. Speaker. And even Tindred Forest, where we share with Kericho County. That road, that all the way to Kapkoros, all the way to Tindred, to Maraba, Mr. Speaker, and all the way that it opens to Maraba and Taptangale, to all these other parts of Tindred, is also part of the roads that under Soba Songo. Mr. Speaker, to put this context on this issue of equalization fund, in fact, in Nandi, Senator Mutinda benefits with 4 wards. That is Songo Soba ward in Tindred sub-county, Kapchorwa ward in Nandi Hills constituency, Chemilil Chemase ward, Mr. Speaker, in Tindred constituency. That's around 200 million plus. So in this 46.5 billion that is yet to be released, out of 424 marginalized areas, Mr. Speaker, Nandi should be the biggest beneficiary. In fact, I'm coming with a motion, and I will try to appeal, because the Vice Chairperson, Senator Mutinda, is here, for Nandi to be given 2 extra wards as marginalized areas. That is Terik ward in Aldai constituency and Cheptirwai ward in Masab constituency, Mr. Speaker. And I know even here in Nairobi, Mr. Speaker, do you know we have what we call up and poor? There are people who are living in Nairobi, but they cannot access the basics, including food, water, and shelter. Mukuru Kwanjenga, Kibra, Mr. Speaker. We imagine that since 60% of GDP is in Nairobi, Mr. Speaker, they are well off. The biggest threat in this nation, Mr. Speaker, is the up and poor. Lack of basic amenities like water, Mr. Speaker, health care, clothing, food, Mr. Speaker. In fact, I want to support and congratulate President William Ruto on his aim of affordable housing program to bring dignity to many Kenyans who live in slum areas, Mr. Speaker, where there is no dignity. But the President is saying it is not us we who are better off that should live in better housing, Mr. Speaker. Even in this Nairobi city, we have seen even Talanta Hela Sports Stadium in Ngong Road, Mr. Speaker. This, in fact, I am surprised. With the greatest up and poor, Mr. Speaker, you find some families who live in Kibra, who live in Eastern Pipers. They don't have playground. You see them when you drive on the weekend along the Pipers. They are trying to sunbathe, Mr. Speaker. They are trying to play their children because there is no playground. And therefore, some of these areas in Nairobi, which is 60%, should be classified as marginalized and be given equalization funds. How do you account to many schools in slum areas within Nairobi? Mukuru Nkanjenga, Mukuru Kwa Ruben, Kibra, one of the largest slums. In fact, you can't access those places, Mr. Speaker. Therefore, I agree, even here in Kiambu, a place called Ndeia, Mr. Speaker. When you go to Kiambu, you think it is one of the richest and wealthiest counties, but there is still a lot of poverty. Places like Ndeia, Mr. Speaker, and many others, even in Kajiado, in Garissa, in Mandera, of course in Busia, Mr. Speaker. And therefore, this issue of equalization, I want to appeal to the finance and budget. Let us sit and reevaluate the marginalized areas so that we include the up and poor, so that we include cities like Nairobi, which continues to suffer under the weight of wealth, Mr. Speaker. This city is a city of contrast. At the far end, you have the super rich. At the far end, you have super poor. I want to appeal. I saw the statement today on stall projects. The governor of Nairobi told us, lazima I work, but unfortunately at the moment I work. And I want to challenge the 2 leaders from Nairobi who are seated behind me to be at the forefront to ensure there are deliverables for the betterment of, Mr. Speaker, of this country. So, Speaker, on the issue of marginalized, I have seen today as I conclude, Mr. Speaker, the salaries and remuneration. And I want to add another, to request through the Vice Chairperson, Senator Mutinda of Finance and Budget, to request that this issue of hardship allowance must be relooked at, Mr. Speaker. I have seen the Salaries and Remuneration Commission have issued a clarification, and I want to agree with them. Under the law, they don't have any role, Mr. Speaker, in terms of how hardship declaration areas is being done, or hardship zones. It is the public service department that does its job. I am aware of a report, and I want to challenge finance and budget because issue of equalization is still part of marginalized, Mr. Speaker. In this financial year, where counties are getting 16.8 billion through financial year 2025, Mr. Speaker, it should be considered. So I have seen the letter from Salaries and Remuneration Commission clarifying that they don't have a role. In fact, under the Constitution, Mr. Speaker, as I conclude, the role of SRC is to only advise on the issue of remuneration. Mr. Speaker, I am aware there is a report that was presented through public Prime Cabinet Secretary Office, where they were proposing scrapping of hardship allowances to teachers, Mr. Speaker, and they were saying they are saving 6 billion. Mr. Speaker, what will attract teachers and other civil servants to work from hardship areas? We must disagree. I totally oppose with the intention of any form to remove hardship allowances for teachers and civil servants, government civil servants. There is a reason why 44 hardship zones and even more should be included. I've said in Nandi we need to see Terik as hardship area. We need to see Chepterwa as hardship area. We need to see Kapchorwa, Sopa, Songo, Mr. Speaker, Chemeli, Chemase being hardship areas among the 44. This move to say they want to scrap to save 6 billion doesn't make sense, Mr. Speaker. And therefore I want to appeal that in the spirit of equalization and the issue of marginalized areas, Mr. Speaker, I agree with the Kenya National Union of Teachers and Kenya KUPPET to reject the intention of scrapping hardship allowances for teachers and other civil servants in the guise. So, Speaker, in fact, this is going against the legal notice number 534 of 1998 and the legal notice of 196 of 2015, which declared some of these areas as marginalized areas, Mr. Speaker. And it is very unfortunate. I am aware, Mr. Speaker, that in fact we should give more hardship allowances to not only teachers, but all civil servants, so that we can get somebody coming all the way from Nandi to work in Garissa, to work in Banisa, to work in Todonyang, to work all the way in Namanga, so that they are motivated through these hardship allowances, Mr. Speaker. And therefore I want to say that the issue of hardship allowances and the issue of marginalized should be married together, Mr. Speaker, so that as you provide basics like roads, hospital, and schools, there is no need, Mr. Speaker, for us to pass 16.8 billion to go and build schools. There are no teachers to teach there because you have not given them hardship allowances. You know, it complements each other. It must and it should complement each other. And even as I'm aware, the CPA agreement of teachers, collective bargaining agreement, has come to an end. I want to urge the NAT and KUPPET to move in and ensure that CBA negotiations. Mr. Speaker, the reason I'm marrying with the workforce or human resource is because you cannot give out equalization fund without human resource. Mr. Speaker, according to the United Nations, you must have what we call human resource development. It is not only infrastructural development. You must have what you call human resource development. It must be resourced, Mr. Speaker. And therefore, the reason I'm insisting on working in human resource development, we must agree that as we give equalization funds, we also give hardship allowances to government workers or civil servants, teachers inclusive, and I'm aware and I want to agree with them under Article 41 on labor rights as they negotiate for CBA, and I want to appeal to NAT and KUPPET, Mr. Speaker, not to declare any strike. The government is willing to negotiate on CBA, Mr. Speaker. Even I want to challenge Senator Tabita on the issue of, I'm aware there is a looming, and it's part of Nairobi delegation, there is a looming, and she's a practitioner in the health sector, that she needs also, alongside our colleagues in Senate delegation of Nairobi, that there is a looming strike of nurses and other clinical officers about the dire situation of health sector within Nairobi. So I want to challenge the Senator Mutinda, because she sits as the vice chair of finance and budget, to intervene on the looming strike of nurses and other health practitioners, because I saw Washira and Kebora yesterday complaining over the same. So, Mr. Speaker, my rationale and the reasoning as I tied up is that we should give equalization fund, but also motivate human resource that works within that region, so that you achieve the results. You cannot build a school, yet you don't have teachers. You must have teachers so that you get value for money. Today we can say 46.5 billion be released. We'll go build a school in Kapchorwa, in Chemelil Chemas, in Soba Songo. But where will you get the teacher that will provide for that learner? And I agree on the issue of 504% for the operations of, I want to request the finance and budget. What is killing counties is recurrent expenditure. I think in future, we should see a way of reducing this 504 million for operations. And I know the Finance and Budget Committee led by Senator Roba and deputized by Senator Mutinda can sit and agree on how they want to proceed, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, in conclusion, this is a very Article 204. We must adhere to it. I want to still appeal that this money of marginalization should and must be released. And I hope when the CS, I've had the mover, who is the Vice Chairperson of Finance and Budget, saying that CS Mbadi is appearing before them. Please let him tell us what this 46.5 billion is. Mr. Speaker, we need to fix roads. Over the weekend, Mr. Speaker, as I accompanied the President, as you are aware, in Kaptagat 9th edition, and I want to thank and congratulate PS Dr. Chris Kiptor, who is the patron of Kaptagat conservation efforts, for the good work he's doing in that region, and as the PS of National Treasury, I accompanied His Excellency the President, Dr. William Ruto, for conservation efforts. Mr. Speaker, and I'm happy you did move a bill concerning environment. I wish to have seen you there because you are one of the champions of the issue of conservation and climate action. And I used a road that is between Simatwa all the way to Naiberi, Mr. Speaker. That road is barely 3 years, Mr. Speaker. But the road is in pathetic condition. It was but tarmac. When you pass through, Mr. Speaker, Wanifa, as you go to Naiberi, as you approach the one from Nyaru all the way to Eldoret. So I used the Simatwa, the Wanifa, all the way to Kipkabos, to Ainapkoi. The road is in pathetic shape, Mr. Speaker. Yet that road has been used only for 3 years. The contractor of that road should be called to order, should be blacklisted. Yes, I'm aware it was in the previous government, it was done in the previous government. In fact, the CS of roads then, the heads who stood for that road, the supervisor, the contractor, must be called, Mr. Speaker. We have roads that were done in 1960s, but we are still there in good shape. That road between Simatwa High School, all the way to the other part of KU, and this other way all the way to Ainapkoi, Mr. Speaker, which has been for 3 years, we must be told who is the contractor. That contractor must be blacklisted. The retention money that is in the account must be brought back. Because if we are using taxpayers' money, Mr. Speaker, to only fix a road and then use for 3 years, then potholes are all over. That road was done in a substandard manner. And I want to request the Committee of Roads and Transport to go back and investigate not only that road of Naiberi, Kipkabos, but also the one, and this other part of KU, all the way to this part of KU, Mr. Speaker, Tingwa. From Tingwa all the way to Ainapkoi, it is not only that, Mr. Speaker. Even my road, the one I talked about today, Chepterit Moi University, it's barely 3 years. But the gentlemen, I'm not an engineer, they are repairing it using maram and tarmac. So I'm wondering, why would you put maram and tarmac? I'm not an engineer, but that is the substandard work. We want, when we fix a road to the tarmac, that road should have even a lifespan of 50 years before even we see a pothole. So the people of Elgeyo Marakwet and Uasin who use that road, I think they are really suffering because, but I'm happy His Excellency the President took a note of that road and directed that something be done. And this was the road that was done in the previous regime, Mr. Speaker. So, Speaker, the reason I'm speaking on behalf on such is because all of us are leaders without boundaries across the nation. Mr. Speaker, with those very many remarks so that I can allow my sister and other colleagues to reply and also other colleagues to contribute, allow me to graciously, with a lot of humility, to second this bill. Let this money go to the village. Let's fix our roads, our schools, our hospitals, and the governors or people who will be in charge. They should know this money is taxpayers' money. 1 shilling lost in any taxpayers' money is for too much because Kenyans pay through the pain for this tax, Mr. Speaker. Are you aware there are two things sure in life, death and taxes? With those many remarks, I beg to second.
Thank you, Senator. The Honourable senators can now contribute to the motion. Senator Mungatana. Just one moment, please. Honourable senators, I propose the question that the Equalization Fund Appropriation Bill, Senate Bills number 7 of 2024, be now read a second time. Senator Mungatana.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me the opportunity to take the floor on this matter. Mr. Speaker, there is a history behind the Equalization Fund. These are monies for those who are listening to us, because I know people are listening to us. Apart from the equitable share that the Senate passes, there is the Equalization Fund. In the Constitution, the makers of that Constitution, we thought that there are parts of this country that have faced severe segregation in terms of funding, in terms of development. And Mr. Speaker, it used to be that some parts of Kenya, people would enter their buses and say, "Where are you traveling? I'm going to Kenya." Mr. Speaker, the reason the Constitution introduced this Equalization Fund is so that areas such as Tana River, which were left behind, in specific 4 areas, the areas of water, roads, health facilities, and electricity, can get extra funding so that we can catch up with the rest of the areas that started getting these funds before us. So, Mr. Speaker, I stand to support the Equalization Fund Appropriation Bill, Bill number 7 of 2025. Mr. Speaker, Tana River will be getting 719 million shillings. Bura constituency will be getting 259,489,901. Galole constituency will be getting 196,502,469. Garsen constituency will be getting the larger share because it also has a bigger population of 263,022,881 Kenya shillings. Mr. Speaker, these monies, according to this act, they do not go to the county revenue fund. In fact, Mr. Speaker, Section 4 of this act specifically excludes these monies from being taken to the CRF, which means, Mr. Speaker, their appropriation is faster. It is possible for this money to be released today from Treasury, and once those plans are approved, it is possible to use this money without too much delay. So, Mr. Speaker, as these funds, 719 million, go down to Tana River, Mr. Speaker, the people of Tana River are looking up to seeing better water services, Mr. Speaker, to seeing better roads, Mr. Speaker, to seeing better health facilities, Mr. Speaker, and also a better reach for the electricity distribution network around our county. Mr. Speaker, I urge that those who will receive these monies, and Mr. Speaker, those who will be given the opportunity to choose those projects in the various wards, because this is what we do. The various wards come up with their projects. Mr. Speaker, we expect proper utilization of these funds, and I again say, let us make it really worth it, that all this effort we make, may it reflect well on the ground, so that our people don't say we are just talking and they don't get information or benefits of the evolution. Mr. Speaker, with those many words,
I beg to support. Thank you.
Senator Karen Nyamu.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the Equalization Fund is not charity. It is a constitutional obligation under Section 204 of our Constitution. And the people who framed the Constitution understood that if we do not deliberately empower the very forgotten corners of our country, then we risk even more alienation and risk creating unrest in our countries. Unfortunately, this noble fund has experienced delays, serious delays, bureaucracy and bottlenecks that rendering it almost dysfunctional in previous cycles. But I'm glad that this year we have a chance because we have specific allocations where this money should be spent in our counties. I want to say that this Equalization Fund is not supposed to be politicized. It is not a way of wooing any community. We must ensure that it is going to the marginalized and not to woo numbers, you know, as it has been traditionally done. Mr. Speaker, urban marginalization is real. And in Nairobi, we have informal settlements where the residents of these settlements do not have access to sanitation, have a huge population in schools, the infrastructure is poor. Tell me, Mr. Speaker, what is the difference between a child who walks 10 kilometers in Turkana in search of water and a child who lives in Korokocho in open sewer? Both are victims of lack of access to water. Tell me why the Nairobi child has not been catered for under this Equalization Fund. Being close to civilization only means that this marginalization is hidden. It does not mean that it exists. In fact, it makes it even worse for our case. I want this to be the Parliament that reviews this allocation of Equalization Fund and allocates pockets of urban pockets that are marginalized. I don't know what happened to Senate Mashinani, because I want to suggest that we take time as a house and our committees, take time to have sittings in our slums, in Kibera, in Korokocho, in Mukuru, Madam Speaker, in Kiambu, in Deep Sea, in Westlands, and all our slums, Mr. Speaker, so that you can appreciate when you are allocating, and particularly the Committee on Finance and Budget, when you are allocating and when you are suggesting, so that you can appreciate that Nairobi is not the skyscrapers. Nairobi is not the estates, Madam Speaker. Nairobi is the 60% of the population of this city who lives in the slums that I have just listed, Mr. Speaker. And I think as a Nairobi team and a Nairobi delegation, we have to raise up to the occasion, because our people have a lot of expectations from us. I want to leave this Senate when Nairobi is listed in this schedule as a beneficiary of this Equalization Fund, Mr. Speaker, because as things are, this is outrightly unfair. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Olekina.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, let me begin by appreciating the good work done by the Finance Committee in ensuring that they push for the allocation of these funds. But as they do their work, it is imperative to be able to understand why this Equalization Fund was put in the Constitution of Kenya and for what reasons. The aim, Mr. Speaker, was solely to be able to address disparities among regions in the country that have been left behind. In fact, I believe that the framers of the Constitution were advised by Session Paper number 10, where development was constantly focused on the areas where the train was, leaving regions. Mr. Speaker, I've had the contribution by my two colleagues who spoke before me. The first one is Senator Cherargei. And today, for the very first time, let me acknowledge the good work that Senator Cherargei does in this country. You know, I've been with Senator Cherargei for the last 8 years in this parliament. And when at the rise of the House, you'll still find Senator Cherargei. So the people of Nandi, just know that you have a good asset. He might be cantankerous, he might be unorthodox, but he is very diligent in terms of his agility and dedication to issues affecting Kenyans. Mr. Speaker, is beyond measure. I really appreciate him for that. Having said that, Mr. Speaker, let me begin by completely disagreeing by certain sentiments that my good friend Senator Cherargei shared here in terms of the city. The city, I beg to differ. My sentiments could be unorthodox, but it is not marginalized. It is completely not marginalized. The city is defined as a city. Mosiro in Narok County is not defined as a city. A rural village in Garissa County is not defined as a city. So this business or debate that my dear sister also, Senator Karen Nyamu, is also supporting that Nairobi should be considered as marginalized. Those people, I dare say, who live in the slums, do so because of poor policies, because of rural-urban migration. If we could spend our time, Mr. Speaker, if we could be able to really focus on developing our counties, there would be no reason as to why people would migrate from Kakamega to Nairobi. There'll be no reason as to why people will move Garissa to Nairobi, from Narok to Nairobi. And when they come from Nandi to Nairobi, and I think that is a conversation we need to have as a country. What do we do to uplift the standard of living of our people who live in our rural areas? The framers of the Constitution, Mr. Speaker, you know, drew the line for us. They divided resources. They went ahead and said, we will put a sunset clause on money to be sent to counties. It is quite mind-boggling, Mr. Speaker, and quite self-defeating when today we start talking about 2 equalization funds to be able to implement marginalized policies. When the money has been set aside, 46 billion. This is a year, so we'll just be reduced to a talking house where we're talking and the money is not going out. That is the argument we should be having. Those regions, I know the committee or the Commission of Revenue Allocation has developed different marginalization policies to be able to advise this equalization fund. But every year, Mr. Speaker, this Senate passes the resources to be sent, to be implemented, then it becomes a tug of war. You know, members of parliament wants to be the ones to be able to implement that. National government wants to take that money. Now that we have a clear path, the most important thing for us to ask ourselves is these 19 or 14, 15 projects that have been proposed to be implemented under the second marginalization policy, and it was never sent. That is the question, Mr. Speaker. That is where we should be putting all our thoughts in to say, CS Buddy, what can we do for you to send this money? What can you do for you to be able to send this money, for this money to go to regions? You know, the Constitution is there. So when I hear people saying, oh, it has been delayed because of debates, because of what? No. It's really just wasting time. So, Mr. Speaker, we have these marginalized regions. We have people who do not even have water in their regions, Mr. Speaker. In the 21st century, we are out in the streets arguing, fighting about governance. We're talking about issues. I'm not hearing people saying, I'm going to protest because I do not have water in my village. I'm not hearing people say, I do not have a hospital in my village. Today, Mr. Speaker, I saw that there was a school. Mr. Speaker, my minutes. This is an issue. I beg to request that we can postpone it to tomorrow so that we are not in a rush to move all the other bills, because these are issues that we need to address, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I would like to request that you allow me to go through this. I haven't been around.
Very well, Senator.
And there are issues that are very important. And I really do wish that all the senators who are here to talk about these projects, to name projects. Mr. Speaker, while I was seated here, I received a text message from a Kenyan who was given a contract during the first policy. I think it was under the Act number Equalization Fund number 3 of 2018. Until today, Mr. Speaker, that Kenyan has not been paid their money. That is what we should be talking about. Those projects. When are we ever going to become of age when we talk about democracy? We are busy talking about tribal issues. We are busy talking about power. But there's no single day, Mr. Speaker, that we can say, now, let us audit these funds. Let us, today, this afternoon, Mr. Speaker, is one of the most important afternoons in the Senate calendar, where we are talking about division of revenue. We are talking about Equalization Fund. The next one, we are going to be talking about dividing money among the counties, the 47 counties. This is a county allocation of revenue. But when I shook my head like this, all like this, you know, and particularly that's the reason why I'm here, and maybe people have issues, but I think it's a day that we don't need to rush things. It's a day that we need to stand here and say, how much money is going to Narok County? With this Equalization Fund, these marginalized areas. Mr. Speaker, there was, in the last Parliament, the Commission of Revenue and Allocation had even gone down. They had narrowed the marginalized areas to sub-locations. You'll find that in Narok County, for instance, you will go to Narok East. But in Narok East, even though money will be given to Narok East, it will not be given to help the entire Narok East. It will be to probably go to Mosiro, where people don't have a health center, they have no water, they have no what. If it is a Murwedikir, if it is Kilgoris constituency, it will be areas that it will help be able to uplift the standard of living of these people. What, Mr. Speaker, I want to invite us all now is to debate how we are going to change our future. Because the arguments that we've been having have been self-defeating. The fights that we've been having have been self-defeating. We now need to ask ourselves, what do we need to do? What belts do we need to tighten? What policies do we need to come up with? So that whatever amount of money we pass in this house can be released. You know, sometimes I think the reason why a lot of things are not done when it comes to the issue of the Senate is because we do not have an implementation committee. I think the day we have an implementation committee with serious consequences, then when we pass this 46 billion, or all the amount of money that needs to be able to go to the counties, we can follow through to ensure that that money is done. After this, we will be discussing about county allocation fund. When we discuss that, Mr. Speaker, will those funds go to projects that have solely been selected by Treasury, or does it have an input of the citizens? The reason why there is such a huge disparity, the reason why there is such a big fight between the younger generation and the current generation, between the millennials and the Gen Zs or the other generation, is because we are not speaking the same language. Instead of doing away with this rural-urban migration and being intentional by the money we allocate and we follow through, we are busy now talking about, let us improve life in the slums. Why not start new cities? Why not go in and say, areas which are just left like that, go set up a city, move people, they move on. Mr. Speaker, if you go to Nigeria, Nigeria decided we are tired of this, lack of coordination. And they came up with Abuja, brand new city. They are building new cities, as a country, Kenya. Today, Mr. Speaker, what we should be asking ourselves is that what will help uplift or change the lifestyle of our people? It becomes very expensive, Mr. Speaker. Now we are talking about this Equalization Fund. There's some money here which is being earmarked to take electricity to those marginalized areas. But let us be realistic here. Mr. Speaker, I'm a pastoralist. And Mr. Speaker, you're also a pastoralist. I live here, and I have probably 2,000 or 3,000 acres of land. To get to where you are, you also have another 2,000 acres of land. By the time we build an electric line to you, we would have spent all the money that is supposed to be able to help people. Why don't we think about creating cities, small towns, even in rural areas, Mr. Speaker? So I went to Rwanda, and I was impressed with what Rwandans are doing when we visited President Kagame. And that is one of the things that, Mr. Speaker, I have committed myself to do it for the people of Ilchamus in Baringo County. Bring them together, have them some social houses. When you put them together, there is enough security. You can put a police post there. You can bring electricity to them. You can give them water. You can also help them use the resources which are located in Lake Baringo. We move that to other regions as well, Mr. Speaker, of Narok County, of Garissa County. So, Mr. Speaker, the argument that I'd like us to have is how well do we ensure that we send this money that we have allocated, Mr. Speaker. The money...
Senator Olekina, you will have a balance of 7 minutes when this motion returns on the floor of the House. Honorable Senators, it is now 6:30 p.m., time to adjourn the Senate. The Senate therefore stands adjourned until tomorrow, Wednesday, 16th July 2025 at 9:30 p.m.